All right, give me about 2 minutes. I gotta find my earbuds. The past 40 minutes has been chaotic.
Sounds like it. Fun.
That's been my whole day, bro.
I've been dealing with people all day. When you coming out to mow? It rained for 5 straight days. I think I need a canoe first.
You don't have a marsh pilot?
Right. I'm gonna have to get one, I think.
You got to give a hover mower, bro.
I think Ohio's starting to turn out like Seattle, bro.
All right, Victor's got the invite, so we're just waiting on him to pop on in.
Can't find my stupid earbuds. I don't know what the hell I did when there they are.
I was to say, you don't need to be raw dogging it. There's our buddy.
I'll turn the video on in a second. I realized that earlier when I shot the video, I misplaced where the heck my
No worries.
I was to say, he's leaving us in suspense already.
All right, can we play
going on,
some
Vet?
white? Can we do some white noise and calm everybody down?
Yeah, it seems like it's a high stress situation tonight. Jeez.
It's been a long day all around. Dude. Honestly, I've been working my butt off like this past week. I know it's gonna keep going probably for the next couple weeks.
Yeah, I mean it's good to be busy, but it's just everybody's adding pressure to it.
Oh, of course. And I'll tell you what, Victor, you're lucky I left in Game 7 because me and you would have been looking at each other sideways with that Cubs blanket there, pal.
Don't pick on the Cubbies.
I'm from St. Louis. That's a pastime. Come on now.
like where the
I'm from Cincinnati, and I still can't root for the Cubs.
But while we're getting this taken care of, welcome everybody to another episode of Bowlers Helping Bowlers.
Yes, sir.
Or Bowlers Helping Chaos, one of the two.
Yeah, well, that too. But no, it was funny. I had a general idea who was going to the Midwest Open, right? So I'm like, okay, there's Jerry Mars, there's Josh Cameron, who's one of our swag guys. He made the trip up. He's actually not too far away from me. And I'm like, okay, there's my buddy here. There's my buddy not too far away from me. And I'm like, okay, there's my buddy here. There's my buddy here. And I turn and look, and I'm like, Victor didn't say anything about showing up to this tournament.
Was he there?
But I looked up, and I'm basically staring at Victor. I'm like, oh, I didn't know you were going to be here.
all right. Sorry about that, guys.
Oh, you're good. You're good, bro.
I swear I'm more organized, but if you guys knew what my schedule was like the past, I don't know, 3-4 weeks, it'd be like, why are you doing all of that?
Why are you doing this to yourself?
Yeah, no kidding. I constantly complain about how my body's tired. Because if you think about it at all, it's like we're all bowlers, right? We all like to complain. I complain and outside of the bowling life too. I'm tired. I need to go to sleep. I'm tired. I need to go to sleep.
Yeah, I think as you get older, you never get enough sleep. Doesn't matter how much sleep you get.
Yeah, no kidding. So we're going to try the earbud one more time so I can hear you guys. Here you guys. Hey!
There he is.
All right, so ordinarily we start off the same way every time, but Victor's got a little bit of a different situation. Victor's more on the higher end tournament style bowler. We usually talk to, your rec, your league, and the people that are, trying to get to where Victor eventually found himself. So we want to like more or less start with discussing how you got to where you're at. How long were you like more rec bowling before you decided to make a serious run and doing more tournaments and being more competitive?
Oh man, I don't know. Like I tell the story about like starting bowling when I was really, really young, like infant days. Like I didn't even pick up a bowling ball first. I picked up an orange and I started rolling it in hallways, you know? Like I swear there's home video of me. I say this on my streams all the time. There is home video of me rolling oranges in the hallway of my diapers. It's somewhere. But got into my first youth league, like so I would start off bowling. My dad would go to a league, he would take me with, and I'd want to go play in the arcades like a normal kid, play Street Fighter, and he would tell me, go bowl 3 games first. So I think that started around the age of 5, maybe. Got into my first junior league around the age of like 10, like one that wasn't for a Game Boy, one that was like, let's get into a junior league. Did a bit of junior travel, which I actually had a reunion with those guys and my travel coach yesterday while I was back home in Chicago. And I think I think it all started to turn around about when I was 21. Around the age of 21, we had this tournament circuit called ABT, where I was handicap sports shot tournaments. And the first one I did, I was just like, man, this stuff ain't hard. Like I was hitting the pocket. I was bowling in Vernon Hills at the Hawthorne Lanes there. I was doing really good. And I'm just like, yeah, this is easy. All of a sudden, crap hit the fan. I'm not making cuts. And I'm like, I got to figure this stuff out. So around the age of 21 is when I really made the decision to, on the backside of realizing I couldn't play baseball anymore because my shoulder was just all torn. I decided to take all that energy and transfer it over into bowling when I was 21. And it's been a long journey, but I'm happy I took it.
I wish I would have taken that journey when I was trying to force myself to be a college baseball player, because I would have been a much better college bowler than I was a college baseball player.
Yeah, I hear that. Like, and I was halfway decent at baseball too. Like when I was a freshman, I would hit 75 on the radar gun. You expect yourself to grow from there, but I was doing that with all shoulder, man. I was not doing that with the rest of my body. And after I had the best bullpen session of my life, me and the catcher at the time were really close friends. Like, he was my best friend. And he's just like, that's the best bullpen you've ever had. The mid sounded so loud. The curveball was great. The changeup was phenomenal. And after that, my shoulder was hanging. And it was never the same. I did that all shoulder. I did not learn how to incorporate the rest of my body.
Yep, that sounds pretty similar, because I had a labral tear in my pitching shoulder junior year of high school, and I pitched all of junior summer and all of senior year with a torn labrum that never got fixed.
Oof, yeah. Torn rotator here that still never went under the knife, never did any of that. I just said, you know what, this is what life is now. I'm going to try and play as hard and as often as I could. But by the time I got into junior college, I made the decision to start working, and I couldn't continue trying to play baseball. It hurt too much. I would try to throw down to second base, be wincing in pain, turning around, like I just couldn't do it anymore.
And it was was it similar? Like, basically it was anything with the overhand action that was really bugging you, the underhand action not so much?
Yeah, so that's the thing. It's like, so especially when you're catching, like I always, especially after the injury, I kept it short. I kept the throw like from my ear, and then because anytime I would go back like this, I would feel pain. So I mean, I'm doing this now and it's pain free, but I'm talking about when you're taking it from your glove and separating back here. Like right now, I feel that. Yeah. And so, I mean, as a catcher, I made it work throwing from my shoulder here, and those are quick pops. Out of the crouch, just bang here.
Yeah.
And that's why. Even after I extended, that's where it would hurt. Underhand, the way I learned that underhand is a natural motion. This is how the shoulder's supposed to work. Overhand isn't, and that's why you incorporate the rest of your body. And so bowling, when I transferred it all over into bowling, like I was pain-free. Like it doesn't hurt to bowl at all. If I tried to throw a baseball today, I'd be screwed. I can't do it anymore.
I threw a bullpen session to my son, who's 16 and playing JV baseball, and he goes, "Give me everything you got." And I'm like, you asked for it. And I'm throwing like max effort from 45 feet, and I could not move my right arm for like 3 days.
Yeah.
Luckily,
Yeah.
I bowl left-handed, so that didn't affect the bowling
Hey.
game. But
Like I said, I could tease you about being on the left side, but now I know your backstory now. Like, I'll give you less of a hard time than I do the other lefties in my life. You're special. Keep that in mind, Steve. You're special.
I
Oh, he's
appreciate
special, all
being
right.
special.
He's special.
Special in more than one way.
But no,
Love
it
you,
was one of those surreal moments because, like I said, I had kept tabs on everybody that was going to the Midwest Open, and then I was talking to somebody. I look up and I'm like, "Hey, Victor! Hey, Victor! Didn't know you were going to be here."
Yeah, and it's funny for me because like I'm looking up and I'm just like, I recognize this guy. Where the heck do I recognize this guy? And I had no idea you're in the area, so like I'm just doing regionals to do regionals, right? This is my
Right.
secondary income, and so I knew some of the guys because I actually know quite a bit of the St. Louis guys. Plus TJ up here in Omaha, he's an Lindenwood alum, so he's
Yep.
kind of hooked me up with a bunch of guys from the area for teams and stuff. And so like I knew some of the guys down there, but I'm just like, what the heck? Oh, nice seeing you here. And you saw it firsthand, like it's the
Yeah.
regionals are very, how do I put it? Like the national tour is where everybody's just like dead nuts quiet, like don't say a word. Regional, you can kind of have a little bit of an interaction. And so it was nice to see you standing there and, finally, seeing it in person, what it's like to be in a really competitive tournament with a bunch of like really great St. Louis bowlers, but also PBA regional guys from the Midwest.
Yeah. Yep. And like I saw you, and then I walked down to the high side, and Kevin McCune started on the high side,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm like, okay, well, I have McCune in my lineage. Like my grandfather's last name is McCune, so anytime I can see Kevin or Eugene, I'm like, okay, well, I'll sit back and I'll watch some of you guys too.
Right.
And then sat and watched Boog pop off 300 in game one. I'm like, well, everybody else is starting in a hole.
Pretty much. Like I was crossing with Brad Miller, and we had started on the low side of the building, which I know like left of those posts in St. Charles are way different than right of them. So
Yep.
we actually ended up starting sliding probably around 30, like slow wheeling the lane, and we ended up, I think I went 110 over, and then Brad was probably around close to that, and then after that it was just straight down here. We're like, oh, we see what everybody else is seeing now. This is not fun, And Bug over there is just throwing 300 because he's just Bug and he's good.
But yeah, when you guys got to 7 and 8 and you got off of it, I said, don't expect any other lane to play like the one you just got off of.
No, yeah, I've been learning slightly about St. Charles lanes, and I love going down there. I love being in the St. Louis area with my Cubs gear. We'll tell that story at a later time.
You give me a pass, I'll give you a pass.
Yeah, like I said, I'm originally from Illinois, the Chicago. I call it the Chicago Burbs because Chicago is the reference point, but I'm about from 30 miles north of Chicago, called Waukegan. And
Oh, yeah.
so like you basically like if you needed another reference, Six Flags Great America was 15 minutes away from me as a kid. So needless to say, I had a season pass just about every freaking season. And moved to Omaha in 2020, and now I've been, the drives are longer to St. Louis. It was a lot easier from the Chicago area, but I always love going down there. I always love seeing the people. Great food down there, great city, great brewery. Went to Four Heads, and I think that's what it was called. It was close to Busch Stadium.
Yeah,
So
Schlafly and Four Heads are both down there.
Yeah. So we went to Four Heads, and we grabbed me and Darren, who was like, I guess basically like my touring roommate at this point. We were really close. We ended up bowling doubles this past weekend, and yeah, we hit it. We just loved every bit about St. Louis, including the beer.
Now, you said that I mean, we all know you're a tournament bowler, but how many regionals do you say you do per year? Because you did say it was a secondary supplemental income.
Yeah, so regionals, we're hitting it hard this season. Last few seasons, I probably had done 4 all year because we have a lot of tournaments like in the Omaha area. Like Nebraska, it's really hard to travel to some of these Midwest tournaments, and Toby's been doing a good job of spreading it out throughout the Midwest region. But these drives are really long for me going to Omaha. Like I basically go to St. Louis because I have friends there. I go to Chicago because my parents are there. but a lot of these drives I can't make reasonably, especially when they have some dual tournaments where they qualify for Central and Midwest region, which Central the divider is basically Illinois, Indiana.
Yep.
So anytime they have a Midwest Central region, like it's too far for me to drive. It's like a 9 to 10 hour drive. So before it was 4. Now I'm looking at the calendar and I don't have a breather until probably October. Like
Ooh.
like next weekend is going to be KC, and then because this weekend's technically off, we'll see if I have to hit overtime for work. But next weekend's KC, then I'll personally take a break. Then we have the 11th frame in Dubuque. Then we have another regional in Lincoln. Then after that, I think we added a regional in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Like it's a lot of bowling.
And for those that aren't familiar, the big difference between the regional tour and the nationwide tour, other than prize money, because prize money is bigger on the Natty.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
facts.
It's abbreviated. The the national tour, you're bowling Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Regional tour is practice Friday, Saturdays qualifying, and Sundays are your finals.
You're right. Yeah, and that's typically that's basically our schedule now. We used to have 1 day events in the Midwest, but those have been kind of phased out because I think we've been getting bigger draws throughout the country for regionals, and that's always nice. But then you're adding one more night of hotel and all the other stuff. So the way the PBA works, you have your entry fee, and then typically the top third cashes. So. Well, this is what a lot of people don't realize. Like they look at the entry fee for a non-member and they're like, "Crap, that's $300." Yeah, but your lowest check is $500. So that covers your expenses, and if you stay with a friend or split, a room or whatever, then maybe you even just make a small profit,
Right.
off the last check alone. But the payouts are also flatter throughout the regional circuit because you want to make sure that these guys are slightly, they're at least taken care of for traveling and doing a weekend tournament. So
Right.
you're not really going to get your big, you're not really going to start getting paid out until you make step ladder or top 4. It might even go down sometimes to top 6, but to give it a shot, make a cash and have your expenses covered and say you had a shot at it. That's why I do it every time. 1 out of 3 is really good in tournaments.
Yeah. The closest I ever got to actually getting to the cut, because I bowled 2 seasons of regional, but I only did like 3 or 4 events a year.
Mm-hmm.
Closest one I got was the farthest one I traveled for. I actually went down to Spring Hill, Florida, and bowled in the Southeast and did the Spring Hill Open.
Yeah.
37. It was bowling on Viper. It was back when we could throw the purple cheat code. So I'm like, okay, my purple hammer loves the Viper, and I was pacing everybody, if not ahead of pace on it with everybody on striking. I could not pick a 7-pin to save my life that day.
Yep.
And
I feel that.
I wound up
Lefty
4
problems.
spots out of the cut.
Telling you, it's a hard grind out there when you take everything into consideration. You're going to have your top guys that lead by leaps and bounds, right? But usually there's a bunch of guys bunched up around that cut. And I always, I say, like, at my level, like, everyone's like, oh, what do they say? Fill your frames, make your spare kids. You got to strike a lot, to actually realistically try to win these tournaments. But to make the cut, the spares are important. You can count on your hand which ones you whiffed to miss the cut. And they play in your head. Typically, they play in my head rent free on the 4 to 7 hour ride home.
Yep. Mine was on the 3.5 hour flight from Tampa to St. Louis.
Yep.
Because I was like, man, if I had just converted I think if I even converted a third of my 7 pins I whiffed on, I was still bowling on Sunday.
Right.
Britt wants to know who your favorite TikTok bowler is, Victor.
Oof. It might
Mark
be my
Dillard.
moderator.
It's Mark Dillard.
Dillard's pretty awesome. I'll give him a lot of crap, and I sometimes I stop to think about it. I'm just like, man, am I dogging on him a little bit too much?
He loves it, though. Yeah,
he can handle it.
Yeah.
DGAB creates some great content too. Like Mike's awesome. Like there's almost too many to name, and I know that's like the politically correct way to say it. But I do have a ton of people. I do have a ton of people that I'll just chime in and say, like, every now and then when Scott Anderson will come on the live, and I'll just be like, dude, I haven't seen you in forever. And, you know, so there's a lot to name, but those are some big ones. Like Britt's awesome on her live streams. Mike's always been good. You guys have always treated the bowling community really well. I'll jump in. Actually, I should have started this show with finally formally on the show, because I know I've jumped in every now and then, you know, as a guest appearance. So you guys know I watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always a pleasure having the people that you enjoy watching, you know, being able to interact with them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that was the one thing that me and Brian were a little nervous about, because we're like, okay, we've got Calling All Bowlers to live up to.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, don't feel like I sit here and still walk around like I'm a nobody, you know, like, and I'll go through Bowling Center, and I'll have people come up and say they enjoy the TikTok, especially when I went down to Baton Rouge, man. I went down to Baton Rouge for nationals, and people are just like, oh my God, I love your content. I love what you do. And I'm just like, to me, it's not anything special. I'm just being myself, you know? If you really, like, Steve, I don't know if you remember any of the conversations I was having in the back about my damn ball reaction when I was losing my mind, dude. I was just frying out. I'm just like, this looks like trash, but I'm constantly trying to find solutions to everything, and it gets complex. So that's all I do. All I do is teach, or basically explain what I see when I'm on the lanes, you know? And so,
well,
and
that was one of my favorite things you said the entire time at the Midwest Open, was when you looked at us and went, you know what? These last 3 games, I'm averaging 250 for the hell of it.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And that's just how it is sometimes, man. It's just that people don't understand the grind. And so I'm just literally here as a channel for you guys to see, all right, what's tournament bowling actually like? I've thought about it. You know, I thought about maybe cutting my teeth on it or trying to sweep it or anything. What's it actually like? And it ain't puppy dogs and ice cream cones a lot of the time. You know, like I have to have a really good support system to be able to let me just vent and think things out, you know. And yeah, thankfully I do have that, especially out here in Omaha, man. Omaha is fantastic, you know, for a bowling community. Back home was too, but it's obviously Chicago. So, I mean, there's a lot of people. But yeah, it's just being me, dude. Like I'm just being who I am when I'm just bowling without the camera on.
And it was funny. As soon as you walked off, I looked at Jules and went, a pissed off Victor is a dangerous Victor.
Yep, pretty much. That's when you start looking at the scoreboard like, all right, he might turn on the Jets right now. And that's another thing that a lot of people, I used to get the whole, oh, you can't be like that. You got to be calm. You got to be like, shut up. Like, yeah, get out of here with that. Like, Pete Weber,
not wrong.
Just in our community, Pete Weber, Anthony Simonson, EJ's not quiet when he's mad, and we see the seasons EJ's been having. When you look at the other sports, Michael Jordan, whenever you pissed him off, you knew he was going to have a game. Tiger Woods, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, they're all hotheads. It's just that we're passionate about what we do. You know, we don't take it lightly. It's like you coming into my office at work and saying, hey, can I distract you for 5 seconds? Get out of here. What are you doing? I got work to do.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, honestly, like sometimes that anger is fuel for some people. And if you can get past that that mental aspect of anger to frustration to anger as fuel, it's only going to empower you.
Right. And we've seen it. How many times did you watch a PBA telecast where you see Pete fired up? And you're like, man, he's gonna come out blazing. He's gonna come out putting up a number. And that's the thing. Like, it doesn't work for everybody. I'm not gonna sit here and say it's the secret to success, but it's what works for me.
Right.
So
yeah.
And I don't try to be like over the top with it anymore. Like I used to just like I say anymore. I've never actually hit equipment like, you know, monitors or ball returns or anything. I don't do that. I might say something a little loud, you know, every now and then, but I'll try to get it away from people. But I just need something to let out the frustration, like get it out so you can just refocus, you know?
Right. Yeah, and that's the biggest thing between anger boiling over into frustration and focused anger. If you can channel focused anger, it's a whole other level.
Right.
But if you can let that anger get to you and it gets you rattled, and it can just as easily just tear your entire world apart.
Right. Yeah. Like I said,
Yes,
everyone's
David.
got a different way to do it, So those who are calm and cool and collected, awesome. Kudos to you. I'm glad that you're able to do that. Some of these guys you think are calm, cool, and collected, they're swearing under their breath. They're fuming.
Yeah,
Oh
We're all
yeah.
human.
Quite
We're
often.
I
I
saw
put my
I saw a
socks on
guy
one foot at a time.
I saw a guy take out the control center in front of the ball return. This was probably at least a year ago, just out of frustration, and he really didn't hit it that hard. But man,
Right.
when it went, he felt
Yep.
terrible.
Right. Yeah, man. That's why I don't want to pay for equipment. That's the thing that
Yeah,
holds me back. I don't want to sit there and put the replacement monitor in per my paycheck. Like screw
right.
that. And plus, it's just a
Yeah.
bad look, dude. Like it's just, like you can tell when I'm mad. And people used to compliment me all the time. They're just like, "Wow, Vic, you hold yourself really well." This was before the mic came on. This was pre TikToking. Oh crap! Now we hear what he says when he's up at the line, and no one else can hear him. But the mic's right here. You're gonna hear me. And it's just at the end of the day, we're all human, dude. That's all it is. Just give me the benefit of the doubt. I was a lot worse back in the day because I was young and didn't know how to control my emotions. Now I'm a little bit more
Hmm.
comfortable. You know what it is too, and I know we're probably not even having talking points here right now, but what it is having that confidence. It's having that. Before it was frustration because I didn't know what I was doing. Now it's frustrating just trying to find a solution, but I have all this experience behind me to guide me. So that's another reason why I started doing the TikToks the way that I do, is that I want to be the person that I could have used when I was younger, when I was just a hothead, just to be a hothead because they didn't know what the heck I was doing. So with the experience, it's gotten better.
And that's another thing that I praise you a lot for is your ability to know when a ball change is necessary. Like you figure it out a lot faster than a lot of other people do. What are some of the key indicators you're looking for when you're either contemplating a move or a ball change?
See, because I bowl at such a high level, right? You got to keep this in mind. There's only a percentage of bowlers that get to the point where I've been, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, but I think the last time I missed a cash was in March. If we don't take into account the nationals team, because I went in with a group of guys I never met before, and that pattern was atrocious. Anybody who's bowled nationals knows that pattern is just disgusting. But it's not having that fear. It's literally I look for the flat 10, right? The flat 10's like, okay, now I'm starting to think about it. A ring 10 is also bad, but for a different reason. But I know when a flat 10 is there, it's like, all right, we got to start thinking about, am I burning it up? Am I burning the ball up? Is the ball not hooking? Like now you see the hamster wheel going. And so once I know I've made a shot, and this is the important part, once I know I've made a shot that I was confident in, not based on the result, based on how it felt, and it doesn't strike, now I'm thinking about a ball change. And I'll probably do it faster than I'm not afraid to get out of the ball because I know what I got with this one. You know what I mean? Like I can't
Mm-hmm.
force this to do. Once I start forcing it to do something, my quality in shot making starts to dip. Because it's not repeatable at that point. It's not. It's not that it's not repeatable. It's not. It's that I can't. Now we take away from the free thinking. Like, okay, I'm here rolling it. Like, so once I start putting in too much effort physically to make a ball work, and I see that flat 10 or even the ring 10 sometimes, I'll ball change. Now we're starting to think, okay, what's the next gear? I know the bowling center just probably has a lot of friction in the bowling center. We're probably going to go to something cleaner. Or, because I rarely ever go to something stronger. If I go to something stronger, it's because I vacated completely. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for the flat 10 and I'm looking for, was my shot good? And how much better do I have to make the shot to make the ball work?
See, and that's like because I'm not the upper level competitor that I was years ago. But and even when I was upper level competitor, I shouldn't have been there. I was donating. I was learning.
Right. And there's a lot of learning to do, dude.
It is a very steep learning curve. Going from tournament to the PBA regional, it is a steep learning curve. But I have a hard time delineating, was it me or the ball?
Mm-hmm.
Because there are going to be times where I'm like, oh, that was the ball. And then there's going to be times of, oh, that was clearly me. And then there's that gray area where you're like, okay, it's a percentage. Some of it was me, some of it was the ball.
Mm-hmm.
But that's when you get into like forcing a ball that you shouldn't be in, thinking that it was you and not the ball, when it was more the ball than you. Yes,
Yeah.
it is a learning curve, Britt.
That's when I started laughing at Britt's sitting here putting her plug in there.
Well, that's
no,
all right.
you're right.
She did the same thing. She did the same thing on her show. She's like, "We're bowlers helping
Bowlers
bowlers."
helping
And I was in
bowlers.
the comments,
Right.
going, "You rang."
Yeah, exactly. But to your point, you're literally describing. So what you're describing is, you're in a situation where you knew you had to put in a little bit more work, right? I'm in a situation where I've done a crap ton of work on my own. You guys don't see when I practice. And I'll be honest, these days, especially as exhausted as I am, I don't put in as much practice time because I'm constantly doing a tournament. I'm constantly bowling something, and I'm staying sharp that way. It's that confidence in your ability to make shots that makes the picture clear. When you say, man, I aced that and it didn't strike, it's a lot easier to make a change than it is to be like, I don't know if I threw that good. Like, I don't know if my lines are right, or I don't know if, I'm throwing it like Mark Dillard did in chat.
I was just going to say, did he skip early bird special or what?
Yeah, did you get up from your nap? Yeah, so bowling so hard. I love that. We love you, Mark. You already know that. But
His ears
we gotta
were
throw. This is what I'm saying. Like, am I too hard on the guy, or am I just?
No, because like I said, like I said in one of DGAB's chats, like, I don't care if he gets a sponsorship from him or not. The first PBA 50 he wins, I'm giving him a golden depend.
There you go. We love it. Well, I'll sign off on it too. He's like, there you go, Mark. But he's one of those guys. I gave you a little bit of cred, Mark. I called you one of my favorite TikTokers, so now you can hold that against me. But that's what I mean. Like, we're at a point going back to it. It's like you have to be really, really confident, and you have to be honest with yourself. That's the hard part about all of this. Is like, I constantly say bowling is incredibly difficult. Like, everyone's like, bowling's easy. I can shoot 220. I'm like, yeah, on your own, but you're not bowling on your own unless you're doing open play. You're bowling in league, you're bowling in a tournament. When you're doing those, you have to keep up with the scoring pace. Your 220 might not mean anything when the scoring pace is 240. Then are you calling it easy?
And your line's going to change constantly.
Right. So it puts it into perspective a little bit. Once I take off okay, I've been doing this for so long. It's like I got to remember to where I was when I was starting to cut my teeth at 21. I gotta keep in mind, how many questions did I ask? Why is the picture unclear? Why is that guy out averaging me by 20 pins? So I said this game's incredibly difficult, and when you can't figure out if it's you or the lane, man, it's a world of hurt at that point.
Mm-hmm. And that was one of the best pieces. Oh.
Muffin Top down here says, I think my biggest flaw is understanding the pattern on paper and surface adjustments for it.
That's a good. I can go off on a rant on this one, and not a rant, but like a talking point. So
sorry, Steve.
When we start, there's so much of a focus on what the pattern graph shows, but that's only so good on that flat piece of paper. Once you apply it to the lane surface, it can be a totally different demon. And that's basically because when you see a lane, you see it be flat, right? You think, oh crap, it's even side to side, front to back. That's not how bowling lanes work. There's divots from all the wear and tear. There's divots from the installation. Essentially, it's like going on a golf course where you already have all the divots in the grass like taken out, and your ball ends up in one of them, and now you got to hit it out of it. So the paper, for me personally, like, there's only a few things that get out of it now, and it's distance and volume. Ratio, to an extent, doesn't even matter anymore, because you could have a 3-to-1 pattern play like a completely flat shot depending on the lane surface that you're on. So For me, it's more about, all right, how long is the pattern? How much volume is in it? Because the amount of volume will tell me how strong of a ball I can go. We're talking like 20, 25 is the par for the course kind of thing. So you're using, like your phase twos and all that stuff. When you get up into the 30 range, then you start entertaining gems. You start entertaining the bigger balls,
Yeah.
the hammer effects and stuff. Like, so I can name other companies, not just, obviously I'm on brand with Storm, you know. But then when you start thinking about volume, once again, how long is the pattern? 30 mils over 35 feet. That's a lot of volume concentrated within that 35 feet. 30 mils stretched out to 46 feet. That means that oil is thinner. And there's so many variables to this game. I know everybody wants like a cookie cutter. This is what you do in this situation. But that's also why I love this game. It's because you have to get a little creative sometimes and understand, all right, volume plus length plus lane surface plus humidity plus whatever. Like you go with the ball reaction as soon as when it leaves your hand and hits the pins, you go off of that.
Honestly, that's why
Yeah,
I like your analogy of how you put it as a bowling alley. It's kind of like an invisible golf course. You don't know where the hazards are. I love that
Right?
analogy.
Yeah, and so you don't know where the sand traps are, where your ball's going to start digging in and burning energy, right? You don't know the water hazards to me are like the out of bounds, like it'll go in the channel once it hits it, and then you drop a ball, obviously,
Yep.
and then the sand trap is where your ball like glues and stops and has nowhere else to go. Now you got to get it out of there. So yeah, it's literally it's it's difficult. This game's difficult in a lot of different ways, and it sucks that we don't have like a clear cut. This is what you do, but that's kind of every sport once you think about it. You know,
Right. With pattern sheets, I used to dramatically overthink them. So I tried to make when I read a pattern sheet, I did it as simplified as I could, so I didn't start overthinking. And it's very similar. I look at mills, distance, but as a lefty, if it's cliffed, I'm going to see where that cliff starts and where that cliff ends,
right?
because that's going to be my starting point. And then I trust my eyes for everything else.
Right. And there's a lot less traffic on your side, so you have to take that into consideration. Like it's funny how person to person all of this is because I could tell you, like, say I bowled a regional this past weekend. We were bowling on 42-foot Carmen Salvino. I threw a gem on the fresh. Not everybody's going to go to that ball. I went to the gem because I'm comfortable throwing that, in that situation. Some guys might throw urethane. Some guys might throw, you know, just name whatever is out there. Everybody has a solution to what is out there, and that's what makes this game beautiful and difficult at the same time. So, but typically when you have a lot of volume over 25 mils, you start to think stronger, and when the pattern gets longer, you start to shell back down.
Right. Now you did mention the storm and how you're staffed. That is one of every bowler's dream, is to be able to wear one of those shirts and say, "Hey, I'm a staff member." But most people have no idea what it takes to actually get there. Could you break down your journey to becoming a staffer?
Yeah, sure. So this is my first year being on staff with any company. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that, I've plugged away, in different aspects of this game. I've been a tournament bowler. I've been good to my community, like as far as like people that approach me and, ask questions, or I'll go to ball demos and help out slash throw the equipment because that's really what I'm there for. Then I end up helping out. But, I get involved with my community, and TikTok has been a big reason as to why I've been able to do this kind of thing and get staffed, because at the end of the day, these companies are trying to get their product out there in the eyes and in the hands of other bowlers. So, I mean, between constantly being out on the lanes for league and tournaments, probably the most important thing is you have to be approachable. You can't be a jerk. If you can't be a people person, you're probably not going to represent any company well, bowling or not. So for me, it was just kind of plugging away at the TikTok, showing what I do for the community and helping them out. And then in turn, Storm is like, all right, you know what? We see you as a valuable person to our team. We'd like to have you on. I filled out an application, and here I am. But there's no there's no letting off the gas as far as helping the community out any way I can. That's first and foremost. You got to be approachable. You got to be a people person, and you got to be able to help, be involved with your community.
It's very well said.
I was gonna say Patrick agrees.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I mean, we see it a lot. We see, a lot of people that they just ask a question like, how do I get on Swag, or how do I get on Storm, or how do I get on Hammer, or any brand? And they'll do the reach out, but they don't really want to put in the extra work to put forth that effort to the bowling community. You really got to put yourself out there and make yourself known. It doesn't even just have to be on TikTok. It has to be on Facebook. It has to be on multiple platforms. You have to put yourself out there.
Right, absolutely.
So-
And that puts me in a position where, like I said, I reach out to the community to help them get more involved with the sport. That at the end of the day is what we do.
Yep.
So I got a question. So last Tuesday I was on Cheetah. I was using a purple hammer. First game I'm killing it. 230 was the overall score. But the guys that we were paired up with, they started burning my line.
Mhm.
So of course the ball started to act a little bit different. So I switched out of it and I never bounced back. What should I done different there?
So this is where my nerdy brain starts to kick in. You have to think about what happened to the lane surface. Your urethane ball probably had some surface on it.
1,000.
Guys were on top of it was about 1,000 grit. Guys were on top of your line and started chewing it faster along with you. What most likely happened is that the front part of the lane got beat up a little bit, got drier. So what made it hard to control the ball reaction was that your ball was burning up all of its reaction in the front part of the lane.
Yep.
So, because that's what these urethane balls do. Even my 78s, when I'm out there, I'll hit it with 360. I've got a 500 rev rate. I'll still hit it with 360. Pitch black, I'll probably do 1,000 because it's smoother overall, and I feel like I got more versatility when it's not as gritty. But I know that by applying that surface, that front part of the lane, all the oil that's there is taken off after a few shots, and that every ball that goes down that same path will start to burn up. So you either have to go to something cleaner in that spot and see if it'll work where you were laying down the urethane, or move away from where you were burning it up, and now you have to kind of open up your angles because you're on a short pattern. You have 25 Cheetah, I think it's still 35 feet. You have 25 boards, 25 feet of friction to control. Now, if you're moving away from that friction and trying to get the ball back, you're probably going to go to something like in my arsenal would be like a gem, or maybe even a phase 2, something that's not super weak, because you need that motor to turn over in the back part of the lane where there's still oil. Remember, you burned up the front, but the back is still tight, because after the ball gets laid down, it starts to shine up. So you have what we call the footprint in the front part of the lane. The footprint is where the ball makes its impact, creates that divot, and you see all those dry spots. Take some time from 2013 to 2015. World Series of Bowling used to do shows with a blue dye, and they would take the camera down the lanes. Those little notches in the lane, in the front part of the lane, is where the ball gets laid down. And that's what you're fighting with the urethane. When that front part of the lane gets burned up, that's actually what's causing your ball to burn up. So you either move away from it into fresher oil, get a bigger ball to turn the corner, or you stay in the same spot and go to something cleaner, it would be like an IQ Tour for me, or like an IQ AI, but something that has a lot of shine to it, so I can negate that friction with something shiny on the ball.
Right. You can push through it.
So then my mistake was I switched to the Swag Ace, which is a solid. It was still hitting pocket, but it was very weak.
Yeah.
So
Burning up early.
yeah, and so after that I switched to my Mania, but they kept. The one guy stayed 5, the other guy stayed 6, the other guy stayed 4. So that whole block was just totally toast at that point.
Yeah, and that's where that's literally you're fighting the front part of the lane. You're fighting your ball hooking and all that dry in the front. And then it looks like it doesn't hook in the back, but that's because it's used up all of its motion already.
And then when it's super short, it's hard to get super deep because you're worried about throwing it basically directly at the ditch.
Right. Like that's a big trust factor there is like you get, and that's why I ball up, off of the urethane because I need a ball that's got enough motor and sometimes enough cover to make sure I don't get zero. Like once it hits that friction down the lane at the end of the pattern, and remember the urethane balls carry down oil. Most
Correct.
at 35 feet with that much volume, most balls would carry it down anyway, but urethane does it faster.
Yes.
And so you'll have a 35-foot pattern now play like a 40-foot pattern. So you have all that oil stretched out. Now that's why you need the bigger motor so that when you throw it away from you and you have to get it close to the gutter, once it hits dry, it has to go. If you do that with a weak ball, it'll go past it. So that's why you see the guys on tour, they throw like their bigger equipments, their jackals, their effects, their ions or hyperdrives or whatever, it's because they need that big ball that once it hits dry, it's got to move. There can be no chance to risk it.
Okay.
And the other thing I love about your game in particular, Victor, is when you decide you have to put a little loft in it.
Oh yeah.
What is the indications that you're looking for when loft becomes the answer?
A lot of the times we get to a point of the block where you move so far left that you're like, man, if like I'm laying it down now into either friction because there's in the pattern graph, there's no oil being applied in that section of the lane, or I'm about to lay it down in the gutter. That's the majority of the time when I loft it because we run out of room. Yeah. Loft doesn't just have to happen in that portion of the lane. Like for instance, on that cheetah pattern, you probably could have lofted it past where the landing zone was, where all the surface, and still been okay. It would have gave you a better chance to finish because, like I said, all you're fighting loft is when you're fighting the front part of the lane. When you lay it down and the ball wants to immediately hook, you can't see the first 15 feet of the lane when you lay it down. Your eyes are like probably around. If they're not at the dots, they're at the arrows. So it's hard to tell when your ball glues to the lane. But when I loft is when I feel like, man, I threw that good, but it didn't hook. Why didn't it hook? There's so much friction out here. That ball should have moved. Well, that means that all that energy is being burnt up, and I got to preserve it. I got to save that energy for the back. So let's just take the front of the lane out of play.
Okay, that makes sense. Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I've got natural loft in my game. I don't think my ball has ever met a foul line.
Yeah.
Because my ball's going to land just shy of the dots, and I've come to grips with that because every time I've tried to change it, my game goes to crap.
Yeah, for sure. Anybody a fan of Mika Koibaniemi?
Oh, dude, Major Mika is one of my favorites.
He did it naturally, There ain't nothing wrong with a little bit of loft in your game. Unless you're on wood, then you might get the owner to yell at you. But, we don't see those.
Well, of course. Yeah, those are fewer and farther between now. St. Louis used to be the wood capital of the country, and now we don't have any wood lanes anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so don't be afraid to incorporate a little loft. And I'm not talking getting it to the arrows. Just a little bit, just to get it over the foul line. Get it over to where, everyone's landing their ball, because now you gain the advantage. You gain the advantage by skipping over all of that dirt that's being created. I'm actually starting to incorporate loft naturally into my game now, too, because I am the guy that will lay it down right at the foul line. And with a 500 rev rate, majority of the time, that is no good.
Yeah.
Now, okay, I'm going to give you a scenario, and I'm gonna ask you what ball you'd be breaking out of your bag.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to go 6-game sweeper, house shot, but high friction surface.
Oof, you got me. Because I had a ball in mind and you threw that in there and I'm like, nope, gotta go.
What are you breaking out of your bag?
To start, if the house is high friction, I'm gonna start in my IQ AI. And I know a lot of people are gonna be like, why is he that far down in his bag? Well, house shots typically are like 8-1 or 10-1, which means that there's 8 times more oil in the middle part of the lane than to the outside. Some places might be more. So you have basically all that free hook built in before you even lay down the ball. Once you lay down the ball, you start transitioning the pattern and it gets harder. It never gets easier. So believe it or not, I use more responsive stuff, responsive being like shinier balls, game one than I do on a house shot game three. Game three is when they start to clip and they start going into something smoother, typically,
Right.
unless they're really beat up. But I would start at my IQAI, and then once that started to look really bad, I would start to figure out, okay, where's the clip? Where's the oil? Where's the definition of oil? And then I would go into something smoother from there, probably like a phase two. If there's still a lot of friction, then it's an Equinox. If the lane surface lets me, put down, because the Equinox is still a big motor, big shiny
Right.
cover, then I'll go into an Equinox. But if that's a little bit too uncontrollable, then I'll go into a phase two. Before you said high friction, it would have been Equinox out of the bag game one.
That's what I was thinking you were still going to go with was Equinox.
Yeah, right. But as we start getting into more puddle and moving left, because that's what a lot of people get a little mixed up sometimes. There are times where there's no hold built in and you have to go weaker, but most of the
Right.
times, house shots are designed to have hold in the middle part of the lane. So balling down when the lanes get drier from where you started is actually counterintuitive. Once you start moving into all the oil in the middle part of the lane and laying it down there, now you need a bigger ball. You need to go up.
Right. Maya's got a great question here, and this is something that a lot of people are probably wondering. How do you know a place is high friction? How do you know a surface is high friction? How can you tell the difference?
The surfaces that are out there now, like SPL and I think even Brunswick's newest lane surface, they have a lot of texture in them. So typically, like the newer lane surfaces will hook out of the box. So even though they probably replaced older lanes that have a ton of friction built into them. These have friction built into them in a different way to where once you get past the oil and hit the dry, now they're like super clipped at that point, so it's really hard to control that. More often than not, we're dealing with a lot of high friction surfaces because of the product that's coming out now that's new. And if you've been in a bowling center, don't be afraid to ask, hey, when's the last time you changed lanes in this building? They're probably not going to take offense to it, but they'll probably look at you like our lanes are fine. But that's how I usually get my information. They'll be like, oh yeah, like these lanes have been here since 2005. Oh, well, they've been around for 20 years. That's going to be a lot of built-in friction from all the lineage and leads over that course in time. It's weird. I'm still trying to figure out if these newer lane surfaces ever get blended to a point where they get nice front to back. But well, you saw what we were bowling on in St. Charles. Like that, once the ball got to the back, dude, they were crispy. They were like booming. And that's kind of what you deal with now these days is that once the ball stops touching oil and hits dry, all of these balls start, really grabbing the lanes. So more often than not, you're dealing with a high friction surface, even if it's new. But if you're dealing with a high friction surface because of lineage, because it's older, you have kind of a more blended reaction front to back than you do on the newer lane surfaces now because there's so much hook once you get away from the oil.
And that's one of the tricks that I've done over time. Like especially if I'm going to a place I'm not familiar with, I'll go up and I'll do my practice slides before warm up, but I'll also look at all the panels from the foul line to the dots and see how many dimples there are on that in that
Right.
area.
Yeah, you can usually tell.
If it looks like it's a minefield, that's going to be some pretty high friction.
Yeah.
If it looks still really smooth, then it's something where it's like, okay, this hasn't been beat up very much. It's probably going to play a little closer to neutral than high friction.
Right. Yeah. You can usually tell there's like little wear and tear that you can see if you just get up to the foul line, practice your slide, like you said. We had a house here that you can literally see the lines throughout, like the track lines all the way to the pins. That's how old the lanes were. They do eventually wear to that point, but like I said, it's hard because it's easier to see it than it is to explain it because you'd have to know what Brunswick Pro Lane is. You'd have to know what Brunswick SPLs are. If you ask the center and they say Pro Lane, more often than not, you're dealing with a more blended front to back lane surface that's not high friction. Once you start adding years to it, like 10, 15, 20 years, now they're high friction surfaces. But that lane surface held up for a really long time. Now the ones that are out, They come with a lot of texture on them. They're gonna hook. They're gonna hook when they hit the dry.
So,
yeah, the place that. Oh, go ahead, Cobra. I'm sorry.
You're good. In a nutshell, if your weakest ball hooks to the 7-pin wild, it's probably high friction.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, which I don't doubt St. Charles is like that on the right pattern because, like I said, when we did that regional, man, I could run over the 7-pin with any ball if I wanted to.
All right, Miles.
All right, be safe.
But yeah,
Miles.
I mean,
All right, Miles, take it easy.
especially like you said, left of that pillar where they expanded and they put the 8 where the college team practices and bowls the most of their tournaments. Well,
Yeah.
they bowl their tournaments throughout more than just that 8, but they wear that 8 out in practice.
They do.
And that's where all their sport shot leagues are in the summertime. So those lanes are seeing a ton of traffic, and they probably just got installed within the last 18 months.
So here's another thing too, Maya, if you're still in the chat. So a lot of the time, like let's just use that for an example, right? 7 and 8 left of the pillar, and then the rest of the center. When you start getting your weaker balls to hook comparatively to the other, like once you start bowling down and you see this rounded motion, like high roads or anything like that, when you see that they're not sharp, you're usually dealing with wear and tear there too, because you have the entire lane surface to slow that ball down to be rounded versus it hitting a bunch of oil, getting to the back part of the lane and looking like a hockey stick. So the rounder the shapes, typically you're dealing with higher friction surfaces.
I did see a comment. Where was it at? Are you bowling the snowman doubles at Fire Lake?
Unfortunately not. That conflicts with a tournament where I don't necessarily, I guess I could sleep in my own bed if I wanted to, but we have a really good tournament in Norfolk, which is about an hour and a half away up here in Nebraska. And I like supporting that tournament because it's a smaller community that, like the bowling center, just to give you an idea, the bowling center has, I think it might be 24 lanes. It could be 32. I can't remember. But they have arcade, you're basically your family fun center plus a movie theater attached to it. Yeah. So everything is there for the community. And so like I like going to that place and giving it its flowers for sure, because they do a great job for everybody in that town. So I like supporting that tournament. And unfortunately it conflicts with snowman doubles. I've heard snowman's it depends on your definition of fun, but that'd be fun for me.
Yeah, like Miles, I agreed to do the holiday doubles with Miles. The holiday doubles in St. Clair Bowl may as well be a freaking PBA event. Because good God, it brings out the best of the best from everywhere.
Mm-hmm. And that tournament sells out fast too. So snowman, you usually have like a pretty decent time getting into the tournament, and they're just hard. The holiday doubles is more scoreable. I don't think they're strictly house now. I think there's a tweak in the pattern to where like they're scoreable, but yeah, it's it brings out a lot of talent, and they usually sell out like 10 minutes when they announce the tournament. I'd love to bowl that, but unfortunately, unless somebody needs like a teammate last minute, it's hard for me to come up the entry fee. Like to know when the entry fee is and then be on point to sign up like within that 10 minute span, because they do sell out fast.
Right. And we had talked about this previously, just me and you, Victor, but I swear if they do another MBS, a Midnight Bowler Society, I've got you in the damn Calcutta.
I appreciate that. That one's an interesting one. I've had people tell me that they'd send me down there, and I was like, I don't know, man. Like 2 balls on a really tough pattern. I think that's still the thing, right? 2 ball max. Ooh,
2 balls.
That is tough, dude.
Yeah.
Anywhere between 40 and 50 feet, dead flat.
Oof. Man, that's how you just make that. That's when you force the ball to work. You're like, I ain't got nothing else.
Right.
You don't have a choice.
Yeah.
Now, you can throw as many balls as you want in practice, but the second that practice is over, 2 are locked in.
Yeah.
And you would think And you would think most people are like, oh, it's really a one ball because you're going to take a plastic ball. No, dead flat flood, 45 to 50 feet. You can use your strike ball as a spare ball.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I've heard nothing but great things about that tournament too. It's just one of those that I was like, it even like gets to me a little bit. I'm just like, man, do I really want to put myself through that? I started to go gray already, and it's happening faster and faster by the minute because I won't stop bowling. But yeah, I don't know. I might have a full Silver Fox going if I did that.
But the format
That's
of
why I'm
MBS
going
is so
gray.
much fun though. Like
Yeah.
it is the ultimate jackpot tournament because it's $1,000 to get in. It's 10 games, and you get top 3 payouts after every game.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a
It
good
is
one.
10 games of jackpots.
Brian, is
I
that
love
why
the
you're gray
comments on
too?
that.
Yep, 100%. It started at 30, bro.
Yeah, I got people. At least you got a head of hair. Make me lose mine. Like, yeah, there's a bunch of times I wanted to pull my hair out. I can't tell you. That's the thing. When you guys see me on the live stream, you get the raw me. Like, there's a reason why I don't. There's a reason why I drown out the audio in my voiceovers, and you just hear me talking over the footage. Like, it is. But it's we love and hate this thing, right? Like, if it was easy, I mean, I don't know that I'd have fun with it. You know,
No.
I'd just lose it. But yeah, that's like David said. I'll just when I go back to work, I'll put my welding hood on, cover it all up. You know, we'll be good. You know, I'll stress out and pull my hair out and go gray all I want. I got a welding hood at work.
I'm starting to get McDonald arches. That's why I wear the hat.
Yeah.
I actually had a few people in my league last night, actually. They're like, you're talking to yourself, right? I'm like, yeah. It's called the Victor Cortez.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
talking myself through it.
Yep. And that's probably why the mic has been so successful, is because I naturally, like, without it, I would just talk to myself all the time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm not doing anything different, guys. It's literally me on camera.
Yeah.
That's who I am.
It's
He's
become a
covering
habit
it
to
up
me
with
now.
the mic.
I was going to say there's been several times where I've been bowling in league, or recently I just started practicing again because I started Project 220 to get my average up to 220 because I'm ready to go back and go from league bowler to tournament bowler that I can actually, contend when I go out and bowl tournaments. But there'll be times where I'll be sitting there talking and somebody will come up and they'll be like, "Did you say something?" And I literally just have to point to the phone and then point to the microphone.
Yeah, right. I got that a lot when I started streaming. It still happens every now and then. I had people like looking over at me at the last stream that I did, but it's just like, no, sorry. It's the best is when you can hear my raw emotion as far as like I'll be afraid to move because I'm human. There's times where I'm afraid to move,
Yeah.
and then I'll make the shot, and you hear me just. Come on, Vic. Why are you that dumb? Why are you doing this to yourself? Like, and you hear me just be so negative. He's like, how does he get through his days being that negative to himself? Like, it's a motivator.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I did the same thing last night. A couple shots. They're like, "What are you doing? Why are you talking to yourself?" I'm like, "Dude, it's a process.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes you
Yeah.
just need to remind yourself, like, what are you doing? Stop trying to force the shot. Move."
Right. Yeah. Exactly. That's what I tell myself all the time. It's just like if you're really second guessing that at that point, it's probably time for you to just make an adjustment. Why
Yeah.
are you forcing it one more time? Quit being scared. Get over it.
Just make the move.
I'll say I cannot tell you how many times in my league where I'm in like the 8th or the 9th frame of game 3 and I finally get up pressed against the ball return and I strike out for the rest of the night and I'm like, this is the move you should have made 30 minutes ago.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just we all do it. I do it still too. I do it plenty. Actually, that's kind of how the regional went this past weekend. So, me and Darren were bowling doubles, and 8 games of qualifying on 42-foot Salvino, and we were in second. We were only behind AJ Johnson and Kevin McCune. I had a phenomenal look on the fresh. First 3 games, I was like plus 80. So when they re-oil for the matches, their best of 5 matches, there's not a lot of friction that's built in. Once again, me and Derek, phenomenal look on the fresh. Get to the final match, and they're not playing. We're already in the 10 minutes of practice. We're trying to build that trench again. We're bowling so good. We're just gonna fire two. We averaged 240 in that match before that. We're just gonna, dig a trench, and then we're gonna call it good because we are so in this. We're executing at a high rate. It took us 2 games to figure out that these lanes were nowhere near as close, like in ball reaction, to what we just bowled on the match before and on the fresh. And the entire time we're throwing it, we're forcing the shots. I know I can speak for myself. Like, I'm forcing the shots. I'm like, dude, in the back of my mind, I'm like, just move. Just move. Just quit being afraid to move. Like, this is not panning out. But I'm ball changing. I'm doing all the other stuff instead of taking the leap to the left. Once I took the leap to the left, it was win or go home. Now we're under all that pressure to make sure that we make the shots. I ended up striking a lot of the shots. Darren still needed to find ball reaction. He was close, but he couldn't get the 10 out. And we ended up losing. That hesitation of, like, okay, like, we have to realize that we're not bowling in the same thing cost us our first region.
Yeah. What do you want? What do you want?
That's
so-
another good question as far as like when you're bowling a doubles tournament. What kind of partner is your ideal playing partner? Are you looking for somebody that bowls similar to you? Are you looking for somebody that you know their game well enough that you can, be like, hey, this is what I see. You need to do this. Like, what is your ideal throwing mate?
So this is actually how, like, for me, it's all about being able to communicate with the person. Like, I've bowled with one of my roommates for the longest time was Ryan Powers, and we would just go because we're like best friends, and like we would just, all right, I trust you to score well, you trust me to score well, we don't have to talk. That's just because he's my buddy. He's the unique situation. When I actually actively look for a doubles partner, I'm looking for somebody that I can explain what's going on in the lanes in a clear way. So the other person that's on my streams a lot is Jasmine Snell.
Jasmine.
She's the redhead that is on the PWBA tour. I say she's a redhead because literally you can't miss her. Like, she's
No,
got,
you can't
right there.
miss Jasmine. And
Right.
Jasmine's a
So-
sweetheart.
Yeah, she's amazing. And so we're best friends and we get along. But the way we started to get along was because we were bowling a tournament. I think it was a mixed team tournament. And all of a sudden, me and her are talking the same language. Like, oh, you see this on the lane. I see that too. And so once we realized that we're seeing the lane the same way, we don't obviously throw it anywhere close to each other. She throws it phenomenal though. But when we can speak the same language as far as ball reaction, like, oh, it's burning up here, it's tight there.
Yep.
That's my doubles partner now for everything. Darren was the same way. Darren is a friend of mine that I've had for years. And we don't tell each other you have to make a 2-1.
In the carnival, I sent
We
out on the
say,
weekend
hey, the
tester.
front part of the lane's tight. Or it's blown open, or it's kind of hard to get your ball to hook in the back. We speak the same language. So if you can communicate with your partner, it's probably a pretty good doubles partner.
Yeah, I love the way you and Jasmine communicate. That's one of the reasons why I love watching her live, is for the simple fact that when I listen to you guys talk,
Look,
you guys are always on the same page.
and then you
Yeah.
too.
And it's
Like,
weird
that-
because, like I said, she's got 200 less rev rate than I do, but
Right.
we see the lane the same way.
Right.
Okay. Don't fight my
And plus, I can trust her to make a shot. She works so hard at her game to where, once she makes the decision, I'm like, go get it. I don't have to worry about you second guessing yourself. You're committed, go get it. And that's having that trust in her and in Darren to be doubles partners, and Ryan too, for that matter. Me and Ryan bowled a lot of tournaments together where we ended up bowling really well, but it was a different way of going about it. We're just like, all right, you do that, you do your way, I do my way, we'll meet in the middle. Like I said, we're goofballs, we get along. That's a very unique scenario.
My ideal, like if I'm hunting a doubles partner, I'm looking for somebody who sees what I don't see, and then I'm looking for a doubles partner where I see what they don't see.
Right.
Like,
And it's
if they see it just fine, I don't have to have input. But if I see something that they're clearly missing, I'm like, hey, you're not seeing this, and they go, oh, okay, cool, and make the adjustment.
Mhm.
Or if I'm bowling and I'm getting frustrated and they're like, hey, you're missing this. I need somebody that'll see something that I don't see.
So what he's trying to say is he's looking for a lefty.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
right.
actually, my best doubles partners are usually right-handed.
Well, the majority are.
Yeah. 90%
Odds
of the
are.
population.
But if I do have another lefty, I don't mind bowling doubles with another lefty. But they have to. I cannot bowl with another guy that's matched up like I am. I have to either have somebody who's got more rev rate or less rev rate than I do. Because if they've got more rev rate, they're going to burn their line, and I'm going to throw into their hook spot for mine.
Yep.
Right.
If they have less rev rate, I'm going to be the one burning the line, and they're going to be throwing into my spot.
Right.
Right. Yeah, it's all these things you take into consideration because even with Jazz, I got to think about like since she's 200, and another good one, is Chelsea, who is another phenomenal bowler on my streams. She throws it fantastic and has a giant brain on them. When I'm bowling with either one of those two, I have to be mindful if I'm going to have to throw urethane or not because I'm probably laying it down where they're laying it down. And so that's another factor that I have to think about when it comes to those two. It's like, all right, I have to find a solution outside of what I really want to do. Can we communicate through that? Because that makes it incredibly difficult. Like you were talking about, you finding a righty with a big rev rate that Steve, that you have to hook it in their landing spot. Yeah, it makes it incredibly difficult to get ball reaction when your ball's done at 15 feet.
I would say, luckily, that's where the natural loft in my game comes, and I go, okay, well, instead of lofting it to the dots, we're lofting it to the arrows to clear the jet wash.
Yep. That's what you got to do sometimes, man. It's ball reaction. The thing is, what I tell people is that you're not the one actively trying to knock down the pins. You have a tool to do that. How can you get the tool in the right spot? A lot of guys focus on physical game and doing all this stuff. It's nice to have a solid physical game, but at the end of the day, you have to be able to say, this is what I want to do to the ball to get it to that spot in this area. And you have to commit to it. You have to be able to make that shot.
Absolutely.
Well, and that was the other thing I learned really quickly when I got into the regional scene. Late in blocks, moving right was not an answer because I was going through more and more jet wash. That's where the loft to the arrows came into play.
Yeah.
Because I was actually talking to another lefty, and they're like, dude, games 6, 7, and 8 of a block, you are literally throwing into a triangle that's about this big where nobody's touched.
Right.
And you have to loft it in between the first and second arrow on my side to get it to that spot, or else you're just going through everybody's jet wash and your ball's so confused it doesn't know what to do.
Right. And it's so easy to miss that too, because even being right-handed, you could be on the friction side of it and not realize that you're laying your ball down in dirt. If you moved 5 boards left of where you were landing it and then all of a sudden you get hooked. It's crazy. Who's that down there in the chat?
Oh,
There was-
Your sister.
It was actually one of the Midwest Opens that I participated in games 6 and 7, or it was an 8-game format that year. So in games 6 and 7, I'm literally lofting my Hammer Obsession Tour to that spot in between first and second arrow and landing it on like 6 to get it to roll out and roll into the pocket. And I'm sitting there thinking when I decided to do it, I was like, this is literally the only situation I would ever be attempting to throw this type of shot with this type of ball.
Right. And that's you getting creative. That's what I mean. A lot of guys, like, don't get me wrong. Do you have to have like a strong physical game? Like, it's got to be okay. Like, you don't have to be the prettiest out there, but you got to be able to commit to what your game plan is and be able to make that shot. How you do it is irrelevant because you're not knocking down the pins. The ball is.
Right.
Right.
The best bit of advice I ever got is once that ball leaves your hand, your input's done. There is nothing you can do to change the destination of that ball.
Exactly.
So then that's why I take the front part of the lane out of play and I just toss it to the arrows because then at least I can have fun with it.
Right, exactly.
There you go.
It's out of my control. All right, in the air you go.
We had a guy in our league who literally his only shot is literally lofting the ball to the third arrow, right-handed, lofting the ball to the third arrow, getting it out to 5. And I used to make fun of him so much because he would throw so many pearl balls. And I'm like, dude, that's completely redundant. And he goes, what are you talking about? I was like, the only reason you ever throw a pearl ball is to get the ball through the fronts, and you jump them anyway.
Yeah. Right?
Not
Yeah,
wrong.
it's like doubling down on your theory there, huh? Like, all right, I see you.
I'm like, you should never have a pearl ball in your hand. You're defeating the entire purpose of the ball.
Yeah. And like that's why it made me think about like so there's a tournament that we have in Nebraska called the Sandhills. Think about the US Open, but 10 times harder. No
Oh,
BS.
God.
Yeah. So sometimes they put out what they call magnesium pins. For those that don't know what that is in the chat, they're pins made out of they're basically metal pins. These things carry way different than wood. I've never left more 24810s in my life. Just barely going light pocket. Yeah, it's gross. It takes some time at some point. Go on YouTube and search magnesium pins. You will not be disappointed. I took like the qualifying for the top 10 is typically around minus 50. You know, for top 10 round robin match play, like minus 50.
Wow.
Could be minus 80 sometimes. Could be minus 100. I took a phase 2 in the middle part of the lane, lofted it to the arrows, kind of soft-handed it, and just made it like hook stop. And for 5 games, it's 5-game qualifier. For 5 games, I went 250 over.
Jesus.
Absolutely crushed this notoriously hard pattern or hard tournament. And ever since that point, I have forever screwed Nebraska from ever seeing a reasonable pattern for that tournament. They took it personally.
Well, yeah, that's like scoring well at the Peterson.
Right, but they made it. They made it so that they hooked so much in the front. If you got it with a shiny ball, you'd get through it, but then you'd have all the oil in the back, and it would fizzle out.
Yeah.
I needed to get over all the friction with the ball with surface to still dig where the oil was, you know, and make
Still
the
make the
corner.
turn. Yep.
It's not. It wasn't. It wasn't easy to do. Like once I saw the picture, I could repeat it obviously because I averaged 250 for the tournament. But it was so out of the box thinking, like Steve said, like I'm not taking a shiny ball and doing that. I need to miss the front, so I'm going to take a ball that's going to grab the lane once it leaves. You know. But yeah, they took it personally. They're just like the comments were coming in when they posted the scores of the tournaments. Like, what? You guys lay the house shot down? Cool. Wrong thing to say. It's one guy at 250 over. The next guy was 150 over because we were in the same squad. And then you started seeing like plus 80, plus 70, whatever. No, every tournament since then cuts minus 100.
But yeah,
And there's 150 bowlers that bowl this.
that's just like the Peterson. The guy that wins the Peterson, they're like, "What'd you do?" And he's like, "I don't know. I got lucky."
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of how I put it up there. I saw something, it worked. I made the right guess.
Sometimes
But
it's
that's
we
what
gotta
we're talking about. You just gotta see the ball reaction, trust it, and make the shot.
Yep.
But that's why this game's so hard.
Yeah, it's when somebody asks what bowling's like, I liken it. I kind of took this from you, Victor. Liken it to golf. It's like, hey, it's kind of like golf. We have different tools that do different jobs, but the difference is there's rough, there's greens, or there's rough, there's fairways, there's bunkers, there's water, and I have no clue where any of it's at.
Right? You can't see the picture, you know? And that's the other thing, too. Bowling's kind of the only sport. I heard somebody say this. I can't remember who said it. Bowling's the only sport where your competition changes the course for you.
Yeah.
When you go out and play baseball, all the bases are 90 feet. Sure, the fences could be like 350 or 400, but at least you have your base. Hey, I got to run around first, second, and third in the same location. Basketball courts, universal. Football fields, 100 yards, you know, plus the end zones. Bowling?
You're blindfolded.
Mandy said, "Can you guys let Vic know my NASCAR race went really good, please?"
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, she was telling me, she was letting me know she was actually taking some time to enjoy herself finally. She's working hard at her game. And she tunes me in when she's bowling league, what her scores are. She's bowling phenomenal. So glad you got to enjoy that NASCAR race, Mandy. Appreciate you letting me know.
Yeah, I mean, there's a certain point where you grind yourself to death, and that's when you got to take a mental break and go do something else just to clear your mind from bowling for however long, even if it's only for a couple hours.
That's where I'm at right now because I mean I don't know if you guys noticed my Missouri Masters stuff is incomplete.
Yeah,
It has been for
gee,
2 weeks.
somebody's been waiting for some stuff. Come on now.
Yeah, no kidding. And I've been traveling to St. Louis. I've been traveling to Chicago. I've been getting up and working at 5 a.m. Like, yeah, we might be burning the candle at both ends, but hey, second place yesterday or this weekend, so doing
That's
something
awesome.
right.
But
Yeah,
that was one of the first things I said to you when we started talking in St. Charles. I was like, "Yay! I don't have to wait for the videos to get posted."
right. Yeah, see it in person. And I genuinely do enjoy doing that stuff because I see the comments come in and it's always complimentary, right? Like and what I do is something different compared to what you guys do. You guys actually tune in and you guys get the community talking and in communicating with one another. I do it. I just show a side of the sport that not a lot of people get to see because when you think about it, how many people are actually tournament bowling compared to what the population is on the lanes? It's a very,
Exactly.
very, very tiny percentage.
Yep.
So, you guys give me the opportunity to talk about why I do it because a lot of people may not have that perspective of even the tournament guys that are out there. They just expect everybody to just, well, let's just show up and, just bowl. It ain't that easy, my guy. There's a lot of guys that the amount of work that you have to go ahead and put this in because, we know for me, it's a secondary income. I have to treat it as such. They're like, do I still have fun with it? Absolutely. I love scoring. I love making cuts. Like that stuff is feel good, but it's a different territory of how much practice is in there, how much productive practice. A lot of my practice these days is not even actually physically on the lanes. It's watching video,
Yep.
so
Analyze.
I was gonna say there is a St. Louis guy that is very similar to Victor as far as dedicated tournament bowling, and I love the dude to death, but I can't stand when I'm next to him because I'm just like watching artwork and I'm drawing stick figures, and that's Shea
yeah.
Bittenbender.
Oh, Shay's a monster.
Yeah.
Oh man. Like I'll check online. Like, oh yeah, Shay just shot 800 again. No big deal. No
Dude,
big
he
deal.
shot 870 on the pair next to me at the Southside doubles.
That is so gross, man. That dude can play. That dude, when I see him at a tournament, it doesn't. And here's the thing: it doesn't matter, right? Sport or house. That guy's going to show up. You have characters like that all throughout the country, right? You have your pockets in St. Louis. You know who your guys are. In Omaha, we know who our guys are. You guys see us on TikTok. Chicago, all this stuff. Now, when you think about getting to the next level, you start bringing those regions together. Oh shit, they're all in the same building. Oh, now we have a national tournament. Like, bro, that is intimidating, dude. And that's
Yeah.
why a lot of people I just give the perspective of like, hey, this is what I do. You don't have to do it. You can live vicariously through me. So I know when I first started, my first regional, I ended up crossing with Tony Lucas. He's got 3 Eagles and a PBA national title. Actually, he's the most chill person ever. And for his PBA win, it was like the 2010 Earl Anthony Open or Classic or whatever. Like he's actually fist pumping and getting hyped. I'm like, Tony, that's the most emotion I've ever seen you ever put on in your life. That's the most I've ever seen you get that hype. I crossed with that dude at my first regional. You know how intimidated I was? And I'm a lot more confident in my game now, but it's because Tony broke me in and he said, hey, I got you. And he showed me the ropes. I'm just paying it forward.
Well, and that's kind of similar that Spring Hill Open, where I was that close to actually bowling on Sunday. I was crossing with Gary Faulkner Sr.
Oh, yeah.
And Gary Faulkner Sr. looks at me and goes, all right, kid, I'm going to teach you something. And I'm like, yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, you're probably in the top 60 to 70 percentile in strikes. He's like, you're you're in the top third in strike percentage in this tournament.
You're on track.
He goes, but you want to know why? You're going to be watching me bowl tomorrow, and you're not going to be there. And this isn't like game 4. So
Right.
he's prophesying. He's like, you leave too many open frames.
Yeah.
I came home and practiced 7 pins for a week straight.
Yeah. That's
brutal.
that's that mentality, man. You ever see the who was it? It was a New York Knicks player, and I can't think of his name. But he was talking about playing the Lakers through 3 quarters, and he's playing Kobe Bryant, and Kobe goes up to him and says, "Hey," and the Knicks are ahead. It's like, "Hey, good game, my guy." And then Kobe just goes off. He's literally like, alley-ooping himself off the backboard and doing all these crazy shits and no-look stuff. And it's having that confidence. Like, Gary's been around the block. Gary's been a phenomenal player for all his life, basically. Yes, Shumpert. That's who it was. And so
Yeah.
he was talking about, like, hey, good game. It's like, what? He's not over, my guy. And then Kobe goes off. But it's having that level of confidence, knowing what you see. Like, you have raw ability, but there's so much more to that raw ability. And that's why I got lucky one time. We were bowling the 2020 Players Championship. 4 blocks, 8 games. The last pattern was a long pattern. And we did this in 2 days. Last pattern was a long pattern. And Brian Valenta, who I've known, through the community, is a local guy.
I love BV.
And BV's fantastic, dude. He just came in because he was bored, I think. Like, he came in to see people. And he goes up to me. He's like, hey, kid, I'm going to teach you how to bowl on this long pattern. And he sat there for 8 games, watched me bowl on this long pattern. And we've seen Brian, like, he made that telecast on Badger where he's literally lofting like half the lane. And
yeah, he's lofting like 35, 40 feet.
It's crazy. And he showed me how to bowl on the long patterns. I'm like, dude, like, he didn't have to do that. Brian's such a good guy. He probably doesn't even really like getting the recognition for that kind of stuff because he's pretty quiet to me. But Brian didn't have to do that. And, it's stuff like that you think about. You just pay it forward. That's why I do the stuff that I do. The community's done so much for me. Why not give it back to other people?
See, I was in college the same time BV and Shay were at Lindenwood.
Oh, yeah.
So I got to bowl with BV and Shay during their college days a lot.
Yeah, dude. BB's a character, man. He's hilarious. He's absolutely hilarious. Shay, I don't know as well, but, obviously, like, the bowling community is all tight-knit. We have, we get along with all the mutual friends and whatnot. But, yeah, BB was my guy for doing that for me. And we haven't talked to him for a while. I'll probably, like, shoot him a message, be like, hey, I talked about how you showed me how to bowl on long. Once again, appreciate you, brother. I'll send him a message later.
Yeah, dude, pay it forward.
Yeah, man, that's what we do. That's what we do as a community. So I'm happy with what I do. But at the end of the day, we got to understand this stuff's hard. We can't critique everybody. We can't critique ourselves because ain't nobody got the answers. I had to cut my teeth just like everybody else.
Right. And here's another thing about the aspect of being a traveling tournament bowler. Let's talk your expenses and how much it costs per weekend to do what you do.
Man. So, like, this past weekend, I got lucky because we want to crunch down numbers. This past weekend, I stayed with my parents. So I got a little lucky. So, the entry was $245. I filled up gas 4 times and believe it or not, $30 a pop. So that's $120 in gas. So now I'm looking at, I didn't do the numbers yet. You put me on the spot. What is that? 360 or whatever. And then, bowling 1-day event, got back for second place. My share was $1,300. So that's essentially like close to $1,000 profit. I can do that for the PBA stuff because, like I said earlier, 1 out of 3 and last cash will typically be around like $500 or whatever. It's enough to cover your expenses. But if I had to have a hotel, I'm usually splitting a room with somebody. Like, you're talking about $120 on a hotel. So that's 2 nights. That's $120. So now you're up to that, last cash number and you break even. Some of these tournaments, as I said, I don't admit to what I win because I don't want Uncle Sam coming after me.
Well,
but
remember, tax evasion is a federal crime. Tax
Yeah, no kidding.
avoidance is a national pastime.
Right? Yeah, exactly. It's no big deal. It's not like we all go do it. But all
I
joking
have
aside,
no part in this.
yeah, no. All joking aside, like I have to report everything I make, right? So that's the other thing. So like we get our W-9s from all these tournaments, and we get cash payouts rule and whatever. Anything that's under $600, I believe, like you're good. But anything over that, you get a W-9.
Right.
So you have to account for brackets that you put in, and plus Patrick's right. You can write it all off with your gas and everything that you even down to food. But yeah, if you want to talk like straight like action, if I'm feeling good that day, probably minimum $500 in side pots, and probably at a tournament that's $150 for the entry, so I'm up to $650, and that's not even accounting for the gas and the hotel that I spent for that. Like you got to be pretty ballsy. These days, I just kind of bowl what I bowl and not worry about so much of the side action. But it's like I said, when I say this is secondary income, I'm also coughing up money to make it.
And that's why
Exactly.
when you said it's a job, because you need to treat it like it's a job. If you're going to do it, you need to treat it like it's a job.
Right. Yeah, and that's what it is. Like a lot of people don't see that side of it, right? You just think you just bowl the 8 games and there's a prize fund. No, there's brackets, there's high game, there's the butterfly collection that you guys want to throw me in for the Midnight Bowler Society. There's all of that, that you account for. So when we talk about expenses, some tournaments I'm in for $600.
Yeah.
On average, I'll probably be like in for $300 to $400 when I do the entry fee plus the brackets. I'll only probably do 40 brackets, $200 worth. But yeah, some of these, especially if they're local and in a specific house that I bowl league in every Wednesday in the summer, like that one I hit big in. That one, I was in 160 brackets and shot 800. So, like I said,
We won't tell anybody.
No. Well, that one I had to write off. That one had to be accounted for.
I was going to say, let's put it this way, ladies and gentlemen. That much money in brackets, shooting an 800, first place prize money is an afterthought.
Yeah, no, I didn't care about winning the tournament after that. I'm just like, hey,
Yeah.
and that's not accounting for the super brackets that were in there. The 64, I think we had 32-man brackets and 64-man brackets. No, it was just 32. So that I won 3 out of those 4 and placed second in the last one. So it was a good payday. Hit clean pot one time for $7,000. That was pretty good.
That's always nice.
This is what I do as a secondary income because if I made this my primary income and I went out to cut my teeth on PTQs and do the PBA tour, think about it. $500 every entry fee. Let's just say there's 16 tournaments in the season. That's already, do the math. I can't do the math. But that's already a lot of money. That's 16 brackets. I do it in bracket form. Hold on, give me a second. I'm brain farting here. Someone in the chat just type it in. But so you're doing that. That's already not accounting for gas that you're traveling to, a week's worth of hotel, a week's worth of food. I think on the cheap side, when I did it in 2020, I was in for $15,000. Yeah,
I was to say, and then do it as a free agent bowler, where all your bowling equipment's pay retail.
So I had to get equipment for that season too, and so it was a learning curve. That's also the last time I ever talked about having somebody sponsor my event because they got screwed. It's not. COVID happened and the person backed out, so I got stuck with it. I got stuck with the bill. So imagine doing all of that. You want to live your dream? Yeah, you're in for a minimum $15,000.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and that's actually the same roundabout time frame where I took the jump way prematurely, barely a 200 average bowler, and said, I'm going to go learn how to throw on the PBA regional tour. 2018, 2019, 2020.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And now,
you got your team.
And now looking back at it, there's no way I would go back. If I could go back and do it again, I would not go back out there until I'm a 220, 225 bowler.
Right. Yeah. Like it's hard, man. And like I think I got the confidence to do it again, but at the same time, like you're asking me to give up, my day job that pretty cushioned at this point. Like I got the TikTok stuff. Like something has to change for me to go back out there, because it's hard. It's risky. And so that's why I won't bag on the guys if we're going out there week after week after week and their brains beat it, so I just know that in the spot that I'm in life right now, I'm not going to cop up 15K.
Right.
Yeah. So that's 75, 8,000 in entries. I had to do that. I had the number in my head before. I thought about this yesterday. But yeah, that's just $8,000 in entry fees.
And that's just the
Or
bowl.
that's just the bowl. That's just to pay for the entry fees. That's just to pay.
Yes, that's just
Mind you, now the way that it works out, it's $250 for the PTQ, and then you pay the other $250 after you make it through the PTQ. So in 2020, I think my expenses were actually like $8,000 or something, but still, like it's $8,000 that's out of my pocket.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's definitely a bankroll.
Yeah. Show me if you're not in top 10 PBA, how do they make money? They got other avenues. They bowl stuff outside of PBA.
Yeah.
And they're successful on social media platforms, i.e., Brad and Kyle.
Yeah, there's that too. Like I said, keep in mind, like I know people like to bag on, this pro showed up to this local tournament that I was going to do, blah, blah. Like, they're out there to bowl just like you are. They all started in the same position you are in.
Yeah.
No one magically decided to be like, I'm just going to be a pro overnight and just go get it. Like, they worked hard for it.
Well, if you ever need a PR person, I think Brett's got you covered.
I think she's handling all of my my media responses in the chat. I appreciate Brett for that big time. But yeah, especially these days, and that's a good point. Like I don't fly to tournaments anymore. It's too expensive. Like there's no way. Like the Southwest, like 2 bags fly free thing ain't a thing anymore. And before that, they used to fly an extra bag for $75, so it'd be $150 round trip. Then they raised that to 125, and I'm like, you're already pushing it as far as now I have to get an X amount of more brackets to make that back, and it's just not feasible. I have to drive to everything these days. I think most people do. Nate Garcia came up to our regional in Chicago and he flew, but I don't know how he worked it out.
I was going to say, and just an FYI, if you're in a very large group that all goes to nationals together, volunteer to be the driver because you will get paid.
Yes.
You will get paid handsomely to drive everybody's equipment to nationals.
Yes.
I forget what I gave Brody last time. I think I bought him a steak dinner or something. No, I actually gave him money. But I'd be more than happy, like in my case, knowing like how much like I can get in at nationals. Minimum 50, usually around 100 if you just want to take an extra 2 bags for me.
Yeah.
Use it however you want.
Because shipping equipment is not cheap.
No. And then on top of that is making sure that it's there.
Right.
Yeah. You're going to need it.
And safe.
Right. Exactly. So, like, I could be giving it to, whatever shipping company is out there, or I could be giving it to the guy that's willing to drive 16 hours. Here you go.
Yeah. I know a guy who basically gets all of his expenses for nationals paid by everybody else that he drives their equipment to, that he drives their equipment for.
Yeah. Right. This time it was me.
Here's the other thing that a lot of people don't really think about. When you're flying with gear, if that gear goes below that plane, do you know what the temperature is below that plane?
Oof.
It gets cold.
I believe that.
Cold.
I didn't think about that until now.
Yeah.
Oof.
So your ball is going through a lot of temperature change.
Yeah. It's just
something to think about.
I just say I'm not flying a plane until I go on vacation to the Bahamas or something. Like I'm gonna commute around, and that's even talking to long drives too. Like I drove to Baton Rouge. I wasn't gonna entertain flying. I said, 15 hours, man, I got it. until I started driving through the boonies because not everything's highway driving from Omaha to Baton Rouge, and I realized like, oh, I have to be mindful about gas. I have to be mindful about food. Like I might go 50 miles without either. Like shit.
Yeah.
That was the
So-
one good thing. St. Louis to Baton Rouge, it was 55 all the way down.
Yeah.
Right, Brett. Yep. Same.
Yeah, and that I don't mind. And don't. I'm not saying anything about like small towns or anything like that. I'm just strictly talking like if I saw my gas range was below 75, I knew I had to stop at the next closest gas station because I couldn't take any risks. There is no way.
Yep. There ain't no I know my car in the middle of the cornfields.
Right, exactly. Like I said, I'm used to Chicago living. Even Omaha is like a pretty populated city. Yeah, no, I'm not used to having to think about that kind of stuff.
I experienced that in my early college years for my first spring break travel trip. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We learned the hard
Yeah.
way. And the gas station we had to stop at was not a very safe location, per se.
Right, exactly. I get that because I remember like before I had the car that I have a Honda CR-V now, I had an Acura TSX back in the day, and you could only fill it with premium. Well, as I was driving through Kansas, I realized all they had were Casey's in '87, and I'm just like, I can't use that gas. Like I'm literally gonna like, I know you could get away with it, but I'm just like, I'm not gonna chance that in my car.
Right.
Like no. So now.
Right.
I learned that the hard way a long time ago too. So yeah, it's no bueno. Like I said, a lot of life lessons learned through bowling. Now that I think about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Bowling will teach you a lot. Some of it you don't even realize.
no,
Right?
it can be, and I say it all the time. It can be an analogy to life. You know, you don't know what you got, so you get on the lanes. You know, make the best of your opportunities. You score, great. If you don't, there's always next time.
I would say that's the best part about bowling. There's always the next time you're on the lanes.
What else do we find when we're traveling and bowling? Food.
Yeah. What of it?
Yeah.
I was like, I don't think I got you guys in some of you guys. I don't know if I got all of you in my Facebook, but you guys catch the food pictures I had? I got to post them to TikTok, man. Baton Rouge treated me so good.
I was going to say the posts of I don't want to talk about nationals, but here's what I'm eating.
Yeah, exactly. We're not talking about team event. You guys know about team event. This is my food.
Yeah.
And I think I had it was late too, so it was like already like 11 o'clock and there wasn't a lot of places open. So we had a smash burger from Smash Time. Oh man, it was so good. Like I wanted to shake the go along with it, but like just the burger itself and fries was phenomenal, dude. So good.
We bowled the 11:30 singles and doubles event, and we didn't get out of the Raising Cane Center until 2:45, 3 o'clock in the morning. The only thing to eat at that point in time is Taco Bell and Rallies.
Mm-hmm. Which Rallies I'll vouch for. I miss having Rallies in my areas.
Throwback jerseys.
I mean, I would vouch
I
for
will be
Rallies
buying
over Taco.
Yeah, well, I would vouch for taco over everything because that's what I have every day for lunch. No, I'm not apologetic about it.
What?
Or regret. Cheesy gordita crunch every day.
I mean, honestly,
Oh.
if they didn't drop so many good things off the menu, I would be so Taco Bell. But bro, it's how hard is it to bring back some of the easiest things that you ever made?
Yeah,
Bring back
The
the
Mexican
Frito
pizza.
burrito.
that's
7-layer burrito.
Right.
You have
one
all
of
these
my-
ingredients.
One of my favorite things ever was a smothered burrito, and it was just
yeah.
basically a giant burrito and like a bunch of taco sauce, so that I didn't have to pour the same amount of taco sauce out of packets. Like, that was phenomenal. I loved it, but no, is it on the menu? No. Like, it's screw Vic. He doesn't need this.
The
My favorite
quesarito.
thing, right? My favorite thing from there was the Mexi Melt.
Oh yeah, dude, the Mexican.
Oh, you know what? Yeah,
Fantastic.
those were good. Like I said, I'm a Taco Bell junkie. Like I can do this all day, every day. I'll never get sick of it. My stomach is strong because I live off of this.
Your immune system is there because of Taco
Yes.
Bell is here.
Chase Dot. Absolutely. Bring back the Frito burrito.
Burrito,
Oh, yeah.
burrito was legit.
Even
Yes.
the
Like I said, if I'm ever in my feels, especially when we're in Dubuque, I'll do. We did the 11th frame open where I missed the cut 9 years in a row. Been going to this tournament, and I finally made the cut last year and finished in third. So I don't know what the heck happened, but every year, fish and chips. That was my comfort food. And if I'm feeling bad after a league, cheesy gordita crunch. Taco Bell's open. Let's go.
It's always good to have that comfort food.
You need it sometimes, man. Like, the only thing in life that I really spend my money on is food. I realize that. I video game every now and then. I'm a simple guy. I'll go to the baseball game. I'll go have a beer, whatever. Food has put a hole in my wallet for the 34 years I've been on Earth.
Oh, 100%.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, one of my worst ones if I throw a really crappy set in league, it's Jack and the Crack, and I'm getting like their midnight munchie meal.
Nah. Okay. See, I got to keep in mind of like what you guys got down there and what we don't have. Like, you probably don't have a Portillo's down there by you yet. So that's what I mean. It was different in Chicago.
But yes, and that's the other part too, is like when I go down south, I refuse to eat at a Checkers. If it's not Rallies, I don't eat there.
Oh, that's all we have is Checkers. There's no Rallies.
Yeah.
Nope.
I usually confuse the two.
It's the same thing.
Right.
Don't
That's
care.
what I mean. I used to confuse them.
It's the same company.
Don't care.
It's the same company, bro.
Just like I wouldn't eat at a Carl's Jr. It has to be Hardee's or I'm not eating it.
Oh my god. It's the same fucking shit.
What the hell?
Tell her to simmer down.
I mean,
Just saying.
I think my biggest hiccup is all right. So if it's Long John Silver's and Kentucky Fried Chicken, why does everything taste like fish? Just saying.
Only
Sorry.
downside
Food for
about
thought.
rallies.
Like
Only
fries
downside
taste
about
like fish.
rallies around here. If you go there, it takes 40 minutes to get your food. They are the
Rallies?
slowest place. Yes, I'm not kidding. It takes forever.
Right? Yeah, it's the same oil. Absolutely.
No, it's oil. You gotta say oil.
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 Oral.
Now I'm trying to think of like how I say it, and I don't want to like put myself on the spot.
I'm from Ohio. He's corrected me.
Because the thing in Chicago, like we don't pronounce there. It's always with a D. It's there. The Bears. I hear myself. You see all these TikToks and all these reels about like how you find out if you have that's literally me every time I say the word there.
St. Louis. Her.
Her. Oh,
Her.
and her. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
we're going over there. I'm right. Her.
That's how I talk around my buddy. Oh yeah, that makes sense. When I talk around my buddy TJ, he's a Lindenwood alum. No kidding.
Makes sense.
I start talking like him.
It's just that Midwest swing.
Yeah. See, somebody got it. Yeah, Cedric the Entertainer's like, yeah, you put the two capital R's and everything. Her, there, were.
Not wrong.
See, I fit right in. Like you said, minus the Cubs gear, I fit right in.
See, now that's the other thing too, is I loved when last year, because I stayed at South Point, I never left the hotel hardly at all, and you could bowl the midnight block and then still go have the all-you-can-eat buffet.
I said, oh, there's my friend Courtney. People in Amsterdam pegged me as a Chicagoan the minute I said, hi, how are you? Like, that's a friend from back home. That's actually the group that I went to go see yesterday when we had that gathering for our travel coach and stuff. And so, like, it's nice that they're actually super supportive about, like, we all realized that we were knuckleheads as kids. Like, I actually apologized to my travel coach and I said, I'm sorry for being a butthead. Like, and now I'm on the other side of it because not that long ago, I think it was a month ago, we had a junior tournament in town. A bunch of kids from like KC area and surrounding areas came in. Hey, Vic, are you going to be there? hey Vic, are you gonna be there on my TikTok? I'm just like, fine, I'll show up. And I start to see the raw emotion they have, and I'm just like, man, I feel so bad for my coaches when I was a kid. Like, I see it now. How to control that raw emotion is so difficult when you're that young.
Yeah. Well, and I will say about the Pizza Hut Taco Bell combo places, the Taco Bell always tasted better, and the Pizza Hut always tasted worse.
Yeah.
Pizza Hut's another one. Comfort food, stuffed crust.
Oh,
Stuffed crust.
yes.
Dude, I haven't had Pizza Hut in a long time. I'm not gonna lie.
No, it's legit. It's like I will never, and I've tried the other stuffed crust, out whenever they make like, oh, look at our version. Like, no, nothing beats Pizza Hut.
I mean, I will never cheat on Jets for the simple fact that Jets ranch is superior ranch to any other ranch I've ever tasted.
Well, and I'll tell you what, if we're gonna talk pizza, this is the only time I will ever secede anything to Chicago. Giordano's is absolute fire.
Giordano's is probably the one that everyone likes. I like from actually like being in the Burbs and being around there. I like Lou Malnati's because they have a better balance of like all the ingredients. But yeah, when you go to Chicago, you think deep dish. You want to pull that slice of pizza and see that string of cheese everywhere. That's Giordano's. It's 100% Giordano's.
Yes.
And since I moved to Omaha, I refuse to eat pizza.
Well, and that's the other thing is like I talked to a buddy of mine when we were going to Chicago for the first time, and he's from Chicago, and he's like, yeah, you need to go to Illuminati's. I'm like, I'm not a member. I can't go to Illuminati's.
That's exactly why I gave you that look. What?
Here we go. Mark's throwing jabs.
I mean,
Oh no, dude, nope.
I'm trying to breathe here. Let's chill out. Let's just.
Canes, 100% Canes.
Oh, Chester's. Literally over the two.
I was to say gas station chicken tenders. Yes, please.
And here's the thing,
I'm not a Canes fan.
Yeah, I'm not. I said that in my post too. I'm just like raising Cane Center, but I prefer Chester's. But anyway, like I can't do Chick-fil-A. Like I never caught on, dude. It's just to me, it's overrated. I'm not gonna be apologetic
Canes,
about
it's all
that.
about the sauce. Canes,
Cane's,
it's all about
yeah.
Yeah,
the sauce.
but the sauce not that good. It's
No.
eh.
Right. Like Cane's actual chicken tenders are
Okay.
like below Chester's and probably Popeyes.
Yeah.
I mean,
agree with that.
Dillard, he's not wrong. Slim chickens. Oh,
I don't even know what that is.
Midwest.
You're
This
missing out.
guy,
Chicken and waffles,
guy-
baby.
he don't eat chicken. Ugh.
You don't eat chicken?
No. I went to the chicken slaughterhouse in Tennessee when I was 15. I'll never
Changed your
even
mind?
look at. Yeah, nope.
All right. Well, with that being said, my wife is a vegetarian because my her grandfather was a kosher butcher, so she experienced all of it. So she's nah.
I can relate.
See, I can relate to Cobra a little bit. Like it's a hair, and I had to watch it from my memory. When I was a kid, we'd go visit my grandparents. I'm Mexican, and so my grandparents are in Mexico, and we'd visit them on their farm, on their ranch, or whatever. I literally witnessed my grandmother preparing turkey,
Oh,
Oh,
and I'm like,
no.
oh. So that was one time, and then I saw my grandfather. We went around my younger brother's birthday, and we were having a pig roast. I met the pig while it was breathing.
I've been there.
Yeah, been there.
Yep,
Yeah,
I've been there.
I
There is
witnessed.
a
I
slaughter
witnessed
plant
it.
not far from me.
Ma'am,
Yeah,
what are you doing
but
downstairs?
do I love pork chops? Absolutely.
Excuse me. What are you doing upstairs?
See, that's the St. Louis staple. You ain't had pork until you've had pork steaks from St. Louis.
I don't think I've ever actually done it. As many times as I've been down there, I gotta actually try that. I don't think I've actually done it.
What are you doing upstairs, ma'am?
Yes, go to Pappy's Smokehouse and get you some pork steaks.
I'm down. Out by us, we have some southern
Yeah,
guys that
but
do
we're
like
not
I think it's
gonna-
called Hillary's. We do rib tips up there, and they have their own sauce. This is a place that you go in, You don't ask for silverware. You don't ask for you. They give you the rib tips, and it's basted in all that sauce, and they give you a loaf of bread, so you can clean it up after with a loaf of bread.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Yep. That was the best part about the Missouri State USBC tournament being in Kansas City. So much good barbecue.
Yeah, man. So we get to go back for a regional in a couple weeks, so I'm excited. Gonna go down there and eat because I need it at this point. I'm not getting sleep, so I might as well eat myself to a food coma.
I was going to say comatose yourself with food.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
I don't mind it.
That's when you go to a Brazilian all-you-can-eat steakhouse and you just go straight food coma.
I still got to give that as much of a foodie as I am. I've never actually done. I've done it one time, but it was at a restaurant that like probably didn't live up to the standards, of like what you think about. Like they were okay. It wasn't anything like out of the park. You need to experience like the real good one.
No, buddy. The next time you roll into St. Charles, I'll take you to Decano's.
All right, I'm ready.
You'll leave with the meat sweats.
Oh, 100%.
That's fine by me. That's what I need in my life. I need more of the meat sweats in my life.
What are we doing?
I've
time
never
Victor comes
experienced
into
the
St.
meat
Charles
sweats.
to
Everyone's
Condos.
like, "Oh, you're gonna get the meat sweats." I'm like, I've never. I will crush meat.
I know it's pointless for you because you can't eat.
I'm a meat and potato guy all day.
Right. Like I risk it every single time. I get like the cheesiest pizza on earth, but does it stop me from having the cheesiest pizza on earth? No.
No,
I'm
absolutely.
good with it. Right. I'm good.
You go into it knowing your body's going to hate you in about 4 to 6 hours.
Right, exactly. It's like, it was worth it.
Big enough stomach for it to make sense.
How do you feel about Chinese food?
Unless it's my birthday.
Hey, Kobe, what are you doing to this kid?
Yeah.
I ain't doing nothing with him. Why?
What, he likes Chinese food? You guys hate Chinese food?
Victor coming in town.
I'm white.
What do you do on Christmas
I'll tell you
Day?
what. Chinese food, the one thing you never trust is a Chinese food place next to a veterinarian.
I'll give you that.
Yeah.
No, we have
That's
to go
fair.
to the hood.
I have my own walk, so
And have the perfect spot.
that's one of the. That's actually a little thing you probably guys. I love to cook. I love cooking. Like I got myself a walk. I got a lot of stuff to just. But like making food for one, like I just live off of mac and cheese at this point. But like when I really feel like it, I just I'll put something down every now and then. Put the actual sesame seed oil in there and fish oil, like do it the right way.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll say,
I'm the cook in my house.
My college years was full of Kraft mac and cheese and bacon.
Yeah, I feel that. Literally, my college
cook the bacon up, crisp the bacon up, cook the mac and cheese, and then just dump the bacon into the mac and cheese and stir it all up.
I feel that. See, my college years are now because I didn't go to college, so I just live off the mac and cheese and SpaghettiOs diet.
I had mac and cheese for lunch.
See, nothing wrong with it.
With what in it?
Pickles.
Dill.
Pickles.
Bro, killer.
But that's the other part that I do like about bowling is I'm such a big foodie. I love going to I don't do chains when I travel. I go to the local hotspot and make sure that I look at every freaking Google and Yelp review and say, all right, this is the spot we're picking. Actually, Jasmine, when we travel with Jasmine, she's in charge of all that because she hasn't missed in like 5 years since I moved to Omaha.
Nice.
So she's the one we count on for good food.
Now, when I go out of town, it's like out of town, usually the first thing we'll do is we'll figure out the town we're going to eat at, and then we figure out if Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives has been there.
That's a good one. That's a good way to look at it.
I mean, honestly,
See, now
If
I
Triple D's been there, it's got to be good.
if I'm going to hit a chain, it's got to be a chain that I cannot get anywhere that's close to me here in South Florida. Like Whataburger, yeah, I will crush a Whataburger.
I had a
Bojangles for
Whataburger
me.
for the first time when I went to Baton Rouge. I see what you guys talk about now. I see what you guys are all about. Because here's the other thing. Everyone talks about In-N-Out on the West Coast. Overrated.
Yeah, I'm not a huge
Overrated.
In-N-Out. Yeah.
But whatever.
But yeah, anytime I'm going east, it's like, okay, where's the nearest Bojangles?
Yeah,
I didn't realize that was a chain.
Yeah. It's definitely East Coast.
And their sweet tea will give you diabetes, but boy, is it good.
That's all I need
Oh,
in my
yeah.
life. That's all I
It's
drink in my
sweet,
life.
sweet.
I'm probably gonna have. Yeah, never mind. I'm screwed. I live off of sweet tea. When I'm
we
not
have
drinking.
Culver's.
Yeah, Culver's is great. And then
Yeah,
I
we just
saw
got one.
Hayden was
I was
saying
gonna
that
say, if you
Jasmine's
go
is
to
the
a
best.
place, and you order tea and they go sweet or unsweet, you're in the wrong spot.
Right? But I'm telling you, man, this is I enjoy the simple things in life. I don't need anything like super expensive or the latest. Like I have a guitar there that I've been having for gosh, I think it's been about 10 years now. Like it's an acoustic guitar that I bought at what do you call it, a pawn shop that sounded good. But if I really want to spoil myself, give me that rooftop steak place. No, Maya, we're not playing it. Nope. I should have never brought it up. Should have never brought it up. It's out of tune. I can't play it.
Come
It's out
on.
of tune. I can't do it. No.
Bowlers jamming with Victor.
Oof, I can't do it.
I
No,
was
you
gonna
guys are gonna. There's gonna be a recurring segment now. It's just like let's hear the next track from Victor.
Next thing you know, he's gonna break out a ukulele.
I wouldn't mind that. I actually thought about getting the ukulele, especially when 21 Pilots got popular and they started doing songs on it. I'm just like, maybe. That's the other thing. I listen to a broad variety of music, so I could play a lot of classic rock on there, some Shinedown, some country, you name it. Doesn't matter.
Hayden, I think you're crushing harder than Britt does, bro.
What, Rick
You're gonna have
Russian? No.
You're gonna have your own collection jar for coins.
That I do appreciate. I'm singing Saturday Lives, though we can't do that. I'm busy. I'm actually busy every Saturday for the rest of my life, so can't do
Next
it.
time you're on, we're gonna have to like make a like goal, and then you're gonna have to play something.
Oh man, don't turn that into a poll, man. Let's go.
X amount of likes for
If it helps the podcast, I'm all for it.
Hey, there we
X
go.
amount of likes for Smoke on the Water.
Do you know how many people would pop into this?
If they knew.
He's bringing a whole new meaning to string pens.
And
Strumming them
Flip
right
that.
up.
see, Victor is a certified rocker. Maybe. Like I said, I will admit, back in my day, I was a choir boy. I did it for 1 year. I did varsity choir, and then we had the bright idea of having a bonfire, and someone brought MMA gloves,
Oh,
and the
boy.
baseball team had a little fun with them, and I was up against one guy who was a wrestler, and they're like, "Hey, Vic, just spar with him a little bit." He put me in a rear naked choke and wouldn't let go.
Oh, bro.
I couldn't talk for a month. My vocal range has
Crushed
been shot.
vocal cords. Yep.
Yep, I could not talk for a month. That stuff is no joke, man. Like when they got you locked in and you see these guys on TV, like immediately you have to tap. There's no way. You're so screwed if you don't.
As
yeah,
a
because
wrestler growing up,
By
yeah,
the time you get the black peripherals, you're already done.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right. It's like, I learned the hard way. Just saying. That's okay. I wasn't going to go on stage in front of 20,000 anyway. So
That's why half them guys have no necks.
They walk around like this, bro, for a reason.
yeah, literally,
Can't choke something out you don't have.
All right.
it's instinctive at this point.
I mean, honestly, when you wrestle, that's what you do when you wrestle. Like you literally, you hold yourself that way for that simple reason. You do not
Yeah,
want
you
anybody to
turtleneck.
get around that. Yep.
Yeah, man, I gave him a lot of credit too. He was like half my size, man, but he could move around. I was like, man, dude, this guy's legit. I thought he was just gonna like put me into position, like just rear naked choke me and say, I got you. No, he wanted me to tap. I'm like,
Well-
oh shit.
As a wrestler, like we know, it doesn't matter how big you are. As soon as we get you down on the ground,
Fair game.
yeah,
Done.
we're good.
What was that? And then they wanted me to do wrestling in high school. Like, bro, I don't have insurance for that. There's no way. I play two
No,
two sports. One where if I hit the ball over the fence, I don't have to chase it and I jog around bases. Second one, the ball comes back to me. Like, no, I'm not wrestling, dude.
I was to say my dad would not let me wrestle in high school because I was a pitching prospect, and he's like, "What if you break your arm in wrestling during the winter?" I'm like, yeah, valid point.
Yeah,
Valid point.
I got
I didn't
into
do
wrestling
football
because I was a
either.
small dude, 100%. I got into a lot of brawls when I was a kid because I was a smaller kid. So yeah, I immediately got into wrestling when I was younger to hold my ground.
Yep. I said I did. Like I said I wanted to entertain other sports, but I was pretty good at baseball, and I was just, even after a tore rotator, I'm just like, I'm not going to jump into football now. It's my sophomore year in high school. It's already too
Yep.
late. I'm 5'10". I'm not going to play basketball. I got a baseball swing. I'm not gonna swing a golf club.
Wait.
I mean, you could swing a golf club. You just have no idea where it was.
You can see Chase's southernness in him. He says super lanky.
There you go.
The leg riders, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, a baseball swing, you can swing a golf club. You just have no earthly idea where the ball's going to go.
When I first started golf, I kid you not, the pin would be straight right in front of me, and this thing would be like 45 degrees that way. Because I would just my hands in baseball stayed through the zone for so long. When I did it with a golf club, I couldn't figure out how to fix it. I'm like, no, this game's not fun. I keep hitting it in the wrong direction. We're on hole 2. This thing's on hole 4.
Keeping your hands through the zone, all it did was opened up that club face and made the ball go that way.
Exactly.
The only way I fixed that was closing the face of the club quite a bit, so that way when I actually came through, it straightened itself out. But even then, it's not 100%.
And that's the thing. Like, you start tweaking those things, and I start figuring that stuff out. I'm gonna deep dive into golf. The guys here have been wanting me to golf for forever. The last time I swung a club, we were at Top Golf, and I finally figured out how to smoke one, like, a 6-iron, like whatever it was, 160 or whatever. Like, it was a shot off my club. I said, I'm done. I'm not doing this.
He's like, I'm good.
Like, nope. Don't need this in my life.
I was going to say that's the obsessive part about it. Once you're like, okay, there's potential for me to be good at this.
Yeah. And that's how I am with everything. Like, I can't do something and suck at it. It's not in my brain. No, it's always a deep dive. It's always like get halfway decent at it. Even video games, like there's some video games that I play just to play, but then there's Street Fighter, and I'm just like, no, stay away from that thing. You love it, but no, like we can't do this. And my brother started doing, one of my brothers started doing competitive gaming, like competitive Street Fighter, and it's a complete deep dive. Like, nope, I don't want any part of it.
I would say, next thing you know, it's 48 hours later, and you haven't had a wink of sleep.
Right. Have you eaten yet, Nick?
No.
What's
Eyes
water?
are like this.
Yeah.
You haven't blinked in 4 hours.
Yeah. And now I actually have a gaming monitor. Like, no.
See, I golf when I bowl and bowl when I golf.
Low score, high score. That's fair. I told the guy today I could probably get 100 in golf and I'd be proud.
It's honestly, as a beginner, if you're shooting 100, you're doing all right. Just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can beginner golfer, anything below 120, you're like, that was a good day on the golf course.
Yeah. And that's why I said, like, if you're shooting around 100 as a beginner golfer, you're doing all right, 100%.
I hope none of those guys are watching the stream right now, just for record. Don't use it as fuel.
Hayden, I shot 300 on the golf course.
In golf.
And I did not get frustrated.
And he was like, and that was in 5 holes.
No, it was more than that. I dropped a few.
As I say, I shot 300 with mulligans.
With
How
mulligans.
many? I don't want to talk about it.
And breakfast balls.
I said, there's only so many things I can do before I realize, like, I'm just gonna deep dive. Like, it's not in the cards for me. Like, I could be okay sucking at tennis or pickleball, whatever the new thing is.
You said pickles.
No.
Sorry. Sorry. Keyword. Sorry. It's a habit.
Got you. But that's why I gotta find a hobby that's not gonna like make me deep dive my brain. I entertain fishing. Fishing's not. It probably is on the table for me.
I like fishing. Fishing's a good way to relax.
As long as you're not in Ohio and you're putting weights in the bellies of walleye and doing tournaments and getting busted for it.
I've seen those videos, man.
That dude should have went to jail.
Bro, that dude, it was a team with sponsors, and they did it for multiple tournaments. They had
That's
to
what
pay
I'm saying.
back. They had to pay back all the money that they won in all the tournaments.
Oof. That's
Dude,
rough.
if I was in control of that, 100%, I would have waited for them to get past that dollar amount of grand larceny and charged them with it.
Well, the thing is the way they got caught was basically one of the other fishermen was like, how are they outweighing us? Their fish, there's no way those fish are bigger than our fish. They weren't technically allowed to go touch their other fish. The guy went over with his knife and literally just cut open one of their fish and just did that, and a weight fell out. And they're like, oh. So then they started looking at it, and then the one guy took off for the truck. The other guy stood there and took the barrage of people, like ripping them apart, and they found fish fillets, like filleted fish inside the fish with weights. I mean, bruh.
That's crazy.
Not the way you want to go down.
That is a thing in just about every sport too. I mean, I'm a baseball guy, so you hear about the cork bat stuff from Sosa. Unfortunately, it does happen in just about everything. I mean, bowling, you got sandbaggers trying to make bracket money. Like, where there's a will, there's a way. Whatever you do, there can be a way. It's like
I would say dipping balls in acetone, making them softer.
Yep.
yeah, that stuff, which is funny because I nerded out because sometimes it's not actual MEK that we use for our aluminum, but we anodize it, which is basically like cleaning the aluminum that we work with, and it's an MEK like substitute. I'm just like, I got a story for you on that one.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, they did what with bowling balls? I'm like, yep. That's how they soak them and they hook more, and all of a sudden guys are left of everyone else, and guys are going like, what the heck just happened?
Yeah, the college team that just got busted for it. Did you hear how they got busted for it?
I've heard bits and pieces of it, and from what I understand, it was like an experiment.
From what I understood, they posted it on Reddit.
Okay.
And it basically, there it is. So as soon as they posted it on Reddit, and I think it was like one of the people that was on the team that posted it on Reddit, and then they did an investigation and then started analyzing their gear. And I'm pretty sure the coach got a suspension. I don't think they did anything to the actual team, but I'm pretty sure the coach or two coaches got suspended for a period of time.
Yikes. Yeah, I couldn't get myself to do something like that. Like, it's just not like I played baseball at a high level, and I knew guys on some of those teams were juicing in a time, and I'm just like, there's no way you can actually pay me to do that. Nah, I couldn't. I'm good. If I suck, man. I'm not gonna cheat my way into glory. I couldn't live like that.
Nope. Most I ever did was the rosin and sweat combination to make the fingers a little tacky.
You were Trevor Bauer before Trevor Bauer got outed for it.
Well, no, I never used spider tack, but I would because I sweat a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So what I would do is I would take a rosin bag and I would pat the entire part of my forearm on my glove hand with rosin, and then just do one of these real quick.
Yep.
Yeah, it's funny because that's been around for the longest time ever, and then all of a sudden spider tag gets included in the scenario, and now they're checking literally everything. But sweat and rosin does give you a decent amount of grip too.
It does.
A wrestling
especially
cheat
when you
code.
get a brand new ball and it's slick. I'm sorry, I don't want to be responsible for pinging somebody in the temple.
Right.
A wrestling cheat code that I ran into when I was in high school. I literally shot in on this guy in school. I literally shot in on this guy like 3 or 4 times. Every time I grab a leg, slipped out. Grab a leg, slip out. I'm literally looking at my hands like, what the hell's going on? This dude literally Vaselined himself up completely. And I finally looked at the ref and I was like, what is going on? And he's like, what, wrestle? And then I went over to the ref and I just grabbed his arm and I just took my hands and went down his arm. And he's like, whoa, what is that? And I was like, exactly. What is that? And then he stopped the match and then walked over to him and he felt his legs and he's like, disqualified. I was like, bro, man, that's messed up.
Yeah. I don't get the logic.
My basketball cheat code was I was a post player. I would always take my thumb and their kidney. It would piss them off enough where they'd turn around and swing at you and they'd get ejected every time.
I can see that working though, like legit. That's actually a pretty good one.
Well, yeah, because it's discreet enough, nobody's ever going to notice that you're doing it.
Right. You're just defending the guy. Like you're not. Dude, that's pretty good. I'll give you that one for sure.
I mean, I was 6'2", so I wasn't tall, and I'm going up against 6'4", 6'6", 6'7" guys. I mean, I had to have some leverage on them.
That's fair. I don't know if I've ever paid any mind to anything that I did. If anything, I screwed my own teammate one time. Pulled a Bull Durham on him.
Yes.
Post me tearing my rotator, I ended up being like mainly a catcher. It was summer league, and same guy. This is the same guy that crushed my vocal cords. Keep this in mind.
All right. Makes sense now.
We're playing against some of the guys that I was playing with in JUCO, and like he's got a changeup that's kind of like a split finger knuckleball variation, but this thing was sinking too late, and it just didn't look good. Like it stayed in the zone a little bit too long. I'm like, Nick, this is not a good pitch, man. Like we're not doing this. And so his curveball was looking really good, and I wanted to call the curveball in the dirt to get the guy out. And he shook me off. I'm like, this motherfucker. Like, you've got a good curveball, dude. So I put it down again, shook me off again. I'm like, what the? Okay, so I go to the mound, and I'm like, Nick, your curveball is really good right now. Like, we're going to go with the curveball. He's like, no, I want to throw the changeup on him. Mind you, like I said, this thing's breaking too late. It's staying in the zone. Nick, your changeup is trash. It's been trashed all day. We're not going with the changeup. All right. So I go back behind the plate, drop the curveball down, shook me off again. Like this motherfucker. All right. So I told the guy, he was a shortstop for our junior college, and I said, look, he's going to throw you a split finger fastball, but this thing will never drop. Just wait on it. Like by the time he gets to you, it's never going to drop. Just wait. Wax it, 450. You can't even find the ball because there was no fence. Walk up to the guy, and he's like, how do you hit that? I'm like, I don't know. No idea.
No, that's when you do the actual Bull Durham quote. Jesus, anything that flew that far should have a stewardess on it.
I should have, but I didn't want to out myself. So I'm just like,
Carl R. asked, hey guys, bowling Baton Rouge tomorrow. Any secret codes for that? Just asking for a friend.
Secret codes. That's still going on? I want to get paid already.
Stay as far to the outside as humanly possible to the beginning because there's not a lot of oil in the middle, and if you jump in too early, you are 6 kinds of screwed.
Yeah, like it's not fun out there. I said I walked into the team room, the squad room. That was the first time I met the guys, and I checked in my 78 urethane. And I said, how do you guys feel about urethane? And I got the instant, like, deer in headlights look, and I'm like, okay, that's not a thing. Got it. And we proceeded to screw ourselves. But we're probably going to miss the cash by 20.
Well, and urethane really wasn't in play for an awful lot of people. There were a select few that had a good look at it, but most people were putting urethane away in practice because it just wasn't there.
Right. Like, I wanted it to develop the lane so we had hold. But then the guy made it a point, like, you're going to blow up the front part of the lane. I'm like, that's fair, because when we did the practice session at the other center and I threw urethane there, I laid it down and it took out the 7-pin twice. There was nothing in the front. So I'm like, that's why I wasn't going to make an argument for it. I'm just like, well, I'm not totally against not throwing it either. So,
But yeah, take
Maya's got
something big
another
and blendy
question.
and throw it on the outside to wear out the outside, because when you move in, there's a finite amount of oil in the middle, and if anybody especially on teams, if anybody jumps left too early, it screws the entire team.
yep. And I said, what did my post say, guys? We're not talking about team. Here's my burger.
That's my
Maya
ask. How does humidity affect the lanes?
See, for me, like, it's more the approaches than anything. I don't even know. Like, there is a working theory. It's not really a theory. It's actually like Nicole DePaul, or Nicole Landry. Sorry. She used to make patterns for the U.S. Open back in the day. And she was telling me that, when it's cold out in the winter months, just like anything that's cold, everything compresses.
Yep.
And so your lanes are going to be flatter in the winter. When you have warmer temps, they kind of bubble up a little bit, they crown because you have everything expanded.
Someone just shit themselves.
So if it's anything like that, then you're probably going to, yeah.
Wasn't me.
No.
My bad.
So if it's anything
My bad.
At least you owned it.
if it's anything like that, then you're probably going to have to deal with a little bit of a crown and hot lanes and stuff. Like that's about as far as I go with it. I just think more about the approaches than anything.
Yeah, I agree with that because I know here in South Florida, when the humidity is high, the approaches are very sticky.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're gonna be in a 12 slide and you're still gonna stop like a dime.
Right.
I didn't know my Bluetooth picked up that much. I'm sorry.
It picked up a whole lot.
Here, Joe, over here.
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
That's what they're talking about. They're talking about the airball, bro.
Damn barking spiders.
I thought they were. I can smell it, and he's trying to kill me.
Oh no!
Oof.
He was talking about Taco Bell.
How are you not dying?
Like I said, that's why I eat it, because it makes me strong. I don't have this.
It was me. Liar, liar.
Yep. 105 pounds in your bra.
Was that a warning timer or something?
Shit's about to hit the fan. I think old Dave down there tapping Steve's face caused a reaction.
Should I say, well, on that note,
I was going to say, I think we've hit the devolve portion of the show.
Steve literally got to run.
bro, just went off the track.
Okay, so we basically went into this knowing that this was never going to be able to be a one-part show because we'd be here forever. So we're going to have to do this again, get you on again, do a little more deep dive, and we can get an update on how everything went. Hopefully you can say you've gone another added to the impressive made cut streak.
Yeah. Cross our fingers, man. I got a little bit of a break, but it's literally one weekend and we turn it on again. We're bowling at Crop Top.
And next time you're in my neck of the woods, throw me a warning. And like I said, we'll go to Tucano's after your set's over.
Absolutely, I am so down. Because like I said, I experience it in I love being down in the area, but I hope you don't mind me wearing my Cubs gear while we're out and about.
Yeah, we'll be all right.
I never even mentioned that.
Thanks, Maya.
After I qualified, real quick, and we put our stuff in the paddock. Now, St. Charles has literally the masking unit saying St. Louis Cardinals with the arch and all the Cardinals colors. I walk in, after I put my bags in the paddock, I walk in with a Cubs logo on a blanket, blue and gray. And I'm bringing this thing in through the bowling center to cover my bags. to get them to strike the next day. I learned my lesson. Don't do that in St. Louis because they did not strike the next day.
But if you got a Sosa jersey, I'll wear my McGuire jersey and we'll rock it like it's 1998.
I love that. I'll gladly do that.
All right, boys. Any parting words for everybody this evening?
Kober?
My approach, my lane, stay in yours.
I would say, Victor, we're always in your corner. We wish you the best of luck. We appreciate you stopping in to BHB tonight. And make sure you keep rolling the rock.
And if you don't, go kick rocks.
Thanks.
I just have to add, if I always go just to watch Victor because you learn so much because he explains it as he's going. And if you want to learn from one of the best, he's probably one of the guys to listen to. And I really appreciate you being on here.
I appreciate you guys for that for sure. Like I said, it's something that it is authentically me. You know, what you get is what you see is what you get. You know, if I'm in a good mood, you know, everything's fine and dandy. When I'm in a bad mood, I'm human like everybody else. You know, but we strive to balance that all out, be 1% better every single day, and I'm just glad that you guys appreciate the stuff that I do because it's just who I am.
It means a lot.
Yep, absolutely. All right. Well, there's never going to be a last time. So until the next time.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, see ya. Good night.